Baltimore Sun, and our friend Rob Long will join us a little bit later on in the program. Obviously, we'll talk some Orioles with him, but we'll just talk about whatever it is that's on Rob's mind. All of that coming up on a Monday edition of the show. Today's show is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. As always, the best place to watch all of the big events, UFC fights, you're looking about Crawford Canelo, trying to make your plans. Fight of the century of the year. There's no better place for any of these. You want atmosphere. You want big-time feel. When it comes to UFC fights, I know Crawford Canelo you don't have to pay money for. It's a little bit of a different situation. But these big UFC fights that you do have to pay money for, why do that? Watch them for free. Inside Sports and Social, Live Casino and Hotel. It just makes way more sense. The 100-foot media wall, the great food, drink specials, everything that you could possibly ask for in a viewing environment at a Live Casino and Hotel. All right, so yeah, I guess there's two big stories, if you will, if you consider a football practice a big story. And I get it when it happens at the stadium. Yeah, thank you, I know. This is one of those difficult
When is it
things.
not a big story? I'm confused.
This is one of those difficult things where it's part of the reason why our relationship has soured is because they want me to pretend like these things matter, and it's very difficult for me. If you went down and spent your day at the football stadium yesterday, I think you had a lovely day. You do. I think you had a swell time watching practice football. I'm sure you did. It's not for me. That's okay. It's the thing that we always say, like certain things are for certain people, other things aren't. It's, all's good, man. Doesn't matter that Tyler Loop went 6 for 6 or 7 for 7. What was it?
Yeah, 6 for 6, or was it? Yeah, was it 6 for? The way they worded it was like he was 6 for 6 and then ended with almost like they added on one. He was perfect.
Yeah, doesn't matter that Tyler Loop was perfect, including a 60-yard field goal. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Those wins
Does
in the
not
stadium
matter.
Are tough.
Anyway.
You had 20,000 people watching.
Never matter.
25,000 people watching.
No matter how badly you want it to matter.
I want to see you. I want to see you make a 60.
You're right about that.
In front of 25,000 people.
That part, I don't know that I can make it in front of 25. I give it a shot. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. No matter how badly we want it to, because it happened. Like that's the thing. In the same way that it wouldn't have mattered that he had gone 4 for 7. It just we can't make these things matter.
That one would have felt like it mattered a little bit.
It would have felt like that, but
7.
it still wouldn't have mattered.
And his long was 38 or something.
One thing matters. When they play the Buffalo Bills in a game that counts, does the kid make his kicks? That's it. That's the only thing. Period. And then does he make his kicks the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that? It's the difficult part about these conversations. Because it happened, we want it to matter. Do you feel better about it? Does it make you say, like, gee, gosh, golly, I think there's a better chance that he could make his kicks because I saw that? Okay. Yeah, quite possibly. I can give you that if you feel like this gives me an amount of confidence, sure, I don't know, feel good about it. Who am I to judge? Dude, the bigger story for the weekend is that the Ravens essentially confirmed what I've kind of been telling you for some time, which is that there isn't really a kicking competition. They drafted a kicker. That was always going to be their kicker. And when Tyler Loop was struggling in training camp and people were overreacting to that, I don't want to say like, well, I knew. That's not what this is. It's more of they always intended for Tyler Loop to be their kicker. I don't remember who we talked to about this subject last week, but we had this conversation. Tyler Loop was going to be the kicker. And when he was going to be the kicker, they were going to be committed to him. They were going to give him runway. They were going to give him leeway. They were going to say, you have the opportunity for a little while to be the kicker. That doesn't mean he gets to be the kicker forever, regardless of results. It just means they intended to give him every opportunity to earn the job in season and go from there. What I had been told was they don't believe there is a difference between the kickers that are available now and the kickers that will be available 6 to 8 weeks into the year. They don't think that they are missing out on someone who will be a difference maker as a kicker by not signing them before the season. They think the same caliber of kicker will be available should they need a kicker in season. I know there's a lot of hullabaloo because Jeff Zrebeck in a mailbag over the summer left out the possibility that could even be Justin Tucker. I have attempted to run that up the flagpole, and I would say I've gotten nowhere with that. So I can't tell you if that's just Jeff sort of editorializing, well, Justin Tucker would be available in this scenario, and if they needed a kicker, he's there. I think I would be surprised by that. But that's pretty third hand that I'm telling you that. I don't have a direct source that I would feel confident saying anything about whether or not that'd be something they would consider. What I'm telling you is Tyler Loop was always going to be the kicker. So when they released John Hoyland, my deductive reasoning said to me that might be in part because Tyler Loop struggled a little bit. And they didn't want to create a kicking competition. They knew who their kicker was going to be. I have every reason to believe that they weren't BSing. This was the kicker they wanted. This was the one they identified. This was the one that they said, this is our guy. And when they did that, they intended for him to be the kicker. They didn't intend to create a situation where people looked at training camp kicking stats and suddenly there was hubbub about how the other guy should be the kicker. Well, look, Loop's gone. We've compiled all the kicks from training camp, and Loop's gone 37 of 45, and Hoyland's gone 39 of 45. That sounds to me like Hoyland's, they didn't want that because they knew who their kicker was going to be. So, yeah, bully for him for making all the kicks at a stadium practice. That's fun.
Correct.
It doesn't get you anything. It doesn't. I don't think you get a commemorative T-shirt. I made all my kicks at
Ravens
stadium practice
number one.
I guess. If somebody wants to make it for him and bring it over to him at training camp this week, maybe he'd consider wearing it.
John, we got more T-shirts to make.
Right? Yeah, go ahead and see if we can run that one today. But bully for him for doing it. That's all I got for you on that. I think the only other relevant Ravens, again, you can't get me to react to anything that happened in a practice, but Dearness Johnson comes in, who at least is someone whose name you recognize, and we get excited when we recognize a name, hey, that guy. The sense that I got was that this is nothing more, and we'll ask Brian Wacker about this. This is nothing more than there are certain guys they don't want to have play much in the preseason, so somebody's got to take the field. And if nothing else, that gives Dearness Johnson the opportunity to maybe show another team that I think the Colts just lost a running back, right? Salvin Ahmed, I believe, got hurt over the weekend. That's tough because I believe it was a hip drop tackle from his own teammate.
Oh, yikes!
Tough scene. So yeah, that could be a team that's in the market for a running back, and maybe Dearness Johnson can show himself in Ravens camp, and that can be what earns him the opportunity somewhere else. But they did bring in Dearness Johnson over the weekend, so there's that. All right, one man of the match from the weekend. Where'd he go? There he is. It's Gunnar Henderson. That was neat.
Good job, Gunnar.
It was a miserable weekend. Orioles couldn't score a run. I wonder if they'll be dejected about all the guys getting traded. Well, No.
Yeah, well, the whoever who was that Kate Horton pitching that day? You know, it was just hard to.
Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what was it, Boyd on Saturday?
Yeah, Boyd
they
was.
couldn't score a run. They went 16 innings without scoring a run. And then all of a sudden, they get on the board in the 8th on Saturday, and then Gunnar Henderson steps up and drills a 3-run homer. And for a second, you find yourself saying, right, like, yeah, remember, it's the core that's going to determine everything. That's as disappointed, as sad as we are about Cedric Mullins. The core is what makes the difference, and there's Gunnar Henderson. Now, you know, it was, for what it's worth, other members of the core had a decent weekend. Colton Cowser coming through with a multi-hit game yesterday. Nice to see. Obviously, key member of the core, Ryan Noda, coming through big time yesterday with the game-tying RBI.
Yeah, that's why they brought him in.
That's your core moving forward.
They want
Gunnar
you to list them: Gunnar, Adley, Jackson Holiday,
Ryan
Noda.
Jordan Westberg, Colton Cowser, and Ryan Noda. That is the Orioles core.
I'm saying
forward.
Noda's ahead of Cowser.
Oh, you've got Noda ahead of him now.
Yeah.
I thought you were a Cowser guy.
I am a Cowser guy, but I mean, you know,
you just know that's
sometimes
the
results
Noda.
do matter eventually. Yeah.
Cowser had a good day yesterday. He was the one that scored. Maybe that's the new duo, the new dynamic duo here in Baltimore, Ryan Noda and Colton.
Orioles fans will be hearing that a lot. Noda drives in Cowser.
I know. I was not the only person who apparently missed this transaction yesterday. And
they sent Terran Vavra back down. Yeah. Or they DFA'd him, I guess.
Yeah,
That was,
they said. And the Orioles are going to go to the bench. Ryan Noda. You're like, what? The hell is that? I know there's been a lot going on, but did they just make up a baseball player? This was after something called a Dietrich Enns pitched for the Orioles yesterday. And for a second, looked pretty good.
Yeah.
For a second, struck out, what's his face? Pete Crow Armstrong.
Well, he was striking out to everybody, though. I don't know what the Orioles had on
they
Pete
really,
Crow Armstrong.
They really did have.
Well, because whether it was the FS1 broadcast or the MASN broadcast, they were like, this guy should be National League MVP. And
they were pushing it.
And every time they said that, he struck out. It was
pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Including to whatever Dietrich Enns is, who I was reminded they acquired at the deadline.
Yeah. It's Charlie Morton right there.
What's that?
That's Charlie Morton right there. Dietrich Enns.
Well, that was a different trade. They made 2 different trades with the Tigers. They didn't get him in the Charlie Morton deal.
All right. Well, then how was
they traded Charlie Morton to the Tigers, and then they traded for Dietrich Bader of the Drew Carey Show and Napoleon Dynamite and Office Space fame.
You're right. Okay, I guess it was a separate. Yeah,
it's a completely separate trade.
Right.
It's bizarre, man. Bizarre world. But all that the only one that was able to get on the board was Gunnar. That's what it is. What do you want to do? What do you want me to say? I can't change it. It's the reality. I had a couple people tell me that they're now into prime. Probably not going to watch. Like I don't really know. What else are you watching if you're not watching the Orioles for a little while?
The other baseball's been good. It's like.
I mean, if you're into it,
Yankees keep losing, so that's fun.
They got swept by the Marlins. That was neat.
They keep running themselves into outs on the base paths, so that's a lot of fun.
I don't mind watching the Yankees look like nincompoops. I'm good with that.
All of their
Kyle Stowers had a grand slam. But they were down.
Yeah, you can watch Kyle Stowers beat the Yankees.
Friday night was a wild night because like the Marlins were down by 5 and came back to beat the Yankees like 12-11, and then there was that Like, why would anyone ever tune into a Rocky? Was it Rockies Pirates?
Yes.
Right. Why would anyone ever choose to watch a Rockies Pirates game except for it was the most exciting in the game in the history of baseball? What is it? 17-16?
17-16. They were down
9-0.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. They were down 9-0 after the first inning.
In the first half inning,
yes.
They were down. They
Colorado
did
get 1 run back in the bottom of the first, so it was 9-1 after 1 inning.
It's wild, man. But yeah. So, sure, you can watch other baseball if you're into that, but there's just not a lot going on right now. So, yeah, I'm probably going to watch I get it. Once we get to September and there's a football game on a Monday night and a football game on a Thursday night, then...
And then action on Tuesday.
Right, obviously. Well, they don't start that until
they should start it
later. But there is football on Friday nights as well, and football on Saturdays, and football on Sunday. Like, I can see once we get into football season how, 4 nights of the week, you're probably going to say... I think the football going to get my attention. I can see that. But until that point, I just don't know why. What are you passing on watching the Orioles tonight for? You're going to watch
Raw, I guess, yeah.
Sure, that's a great point. Brock Lesnar's. Oh, boy. Oh.
Holy ass.
It's not troubling at all. Not remotely troubling. All's good here, man. Nothing to see whatsoever. What? What lawsuit? What are you talking about? It's Brock Lesnar. You remember him. He's big. Brock Lesnar.
He was a good wrestler.
He's back. So there's that. Got that going for us, which is something. But yeah, the people that have said, hey, I think I'm in the point where I'm just not going to watch the Orioles. Like, okay, fine. I just don't know what it is that you're choosing to watch otherwise. So, yeah, the Orioles go to Philadelphia. Cade Povich is back. What are you watching for? You're watching for the core. You're watching for, do any of the bullpen arms become things? You're watching. For a minute, Cade Stroud looked like he comes in, he gets double play yesterday. You're like, all right, Cade Stroud. You're watching for that. You're watching for, do any of these pitchers show themselves to be guys that you would throw into the conversation? Like, it's just kind of what it is. If you had convinced yourself that stretch of them, what did they win, like 7 of 9 or something like that?
Yeah, it was 5 of 6, and then
because they swept the Rockies. No, they didn't sweep the Rockies. They took 2 out of 3 from the Rockies, but they won the last 2. And then they won 3 of 5. So like they had won 5 of 7 for sure.
Right, because they won 3 in a row against Toronto.
So I guess it had been 6 of 9. They won 6 out of 9 through Saturday, I guess. If you had convinced yourself that, like, maybe there's still some life, I don't know what to tell you.
Or just be interesting to watch, yeah.
If you're believing that there's still a corner to be turned.
You know what would get people to tune in?
What?
They hire a new manager.
I mean, that would be good. I'd be in favor of that, but they don't appear to be interested in that. So it's what it is. Gunnar Henderson goes up on the board for the 4th time this season. It was nice to see the guy that you think is supposed to be the centerpiece superstar of the team, deliver that moment, but it doesn't change the fact that even for him, it's been a disappointing season. While it has, you could say in context, it hasn't been as disappointing as Adley or Colton. It's still been it's been disappointing. There's no way around it, and I want you to harp on it. You want me to scream about it. You can't get me to be overly emotional about these things. You just can't get me to care all that much. Trevor Rogers looked good again on Friday. Looked really good. Orioles couldn't score a run, but he looked great. Allowed only 1 run on a sacrifice fly, and frankly, that run probably shouldn't have scored because
they didn't have a right fielder.
Yeah, boy, Jeremiah Jackson, poor guy, comes up, gets a few hits. You're like, all right, and then they throw him out in right field, and what are you doing? What an idea! Is this guy an outfielder? No. All right, put him out there.
Well, he played it once or twice, actually.
Oh, had he?
He played right field twice this season, I think.
Oh, good.
But it was like over his entire minor league career, which was like 6 seasons. He played it like 9 times.
Get out there, fella. Let's see what you got. First ball. That's the worst part about him, too. That's the first one. He's just like, all right, good. Nice routine fly ball. Find myself into the game. That's all I got to do. Oh, crap. I mean, if you do want a storyline from the weekend, the one storyline there is that
the Jackson to Jackson play.
No, not that one.
Yes, that was the highlight.
Jeremiah Jackson to Jackson Holiday to Alex Jackson on the relay, the cut a runner down. No, the storyline is that it's not Colton Cowser, right? That's playing center field. That is the storyline. The thing that we had sort of speculated about, is there any world where they just say, hey, the offense struggles, and they're openly saying it, which is not normally something that you hear teams do, is to openly say, look, Colton has struggled so much offensively that we just don't want him playing another position, which is what we had hypothesized could be the case. But after they traded Laureano as well as Mullins, I thought to myself, they need to get at bats for these other guys. I don't think you need to get at bats for Dylan Carlson. I thought that the Laureano trade cemented that Cowser was going to move to center field. They are so hell-bent about Cowser trying to get fixed offensively, and that he's not their priority in center field, which really further complicates. I'm writing today about Cedric Mullins for PressBoxOnline.com, and how Like, it's easy to say things like, well, this is just the way that sports, like, my kids are really struggling with Cedric Mullins being traded. This is their first, like, they were disappointed that Anthony Santander left in free agency, but it didn't happen in the middle of the season. Like, they had time to adjust to it. Like, they are heartbroken, but they were watching Cedric Mullins rob home runs one day, and now he's not an Oriole the next. Like, that really has broken their hearts. They love Cedric Mullins. I love Cedric Mullins. So I'm writing about it and how, this happens. Like, this, my kids have to go through this. It was a bummer for me when Roberto Alomar left Baltimore, right? Like, you go through this. There are some people in town that have still never gotten over Mike Messina. Ed Reed wore other colors, right? Like, these things happen in sports. John Unitas did.
Charles Suggs,
it happens. Now, those guys were clearly at the end of their career, but that's it's easier when you can say you get it, right? Like, you could kind of, even Ed Reed, you got it. Like, you could see he wasn't the same guy at the tail end. Still impactful, but not the same guy. Salary cap sport, right? Like, you could understand. Sometimes in baseball, like, the Adam Jones thing was painful a few years ago. But you also understood that, like, the Orioles were going into a full rebuild. And so he didn't fit that. You don't know what the Orioles are doing in center field. It's part of what makes the Cedric Mullins conversation difficult. The Orioles are moving on from Cedric Mullins without a center fielder. At all. Nor one that you're confident is ready to go to start next year. They're moving on from Cedric Mullins for nothing. That, hey, happened to me at a radio station once. It's a weird... It presents this, like, you want to be able to say, hey, this is business, this is how sports work, like, sometimes you move on from guys, like, you want to say those things, but when you do that, typically it's that you're moving on for an upgrade or because you don't know what you're moving on from Cedric Mullins for at all. And a lot of people convince themselves, or you're moving on from Cedric Mullins for Colton Cowser, and the rest of us said, right, but Colton Cowser isn't good. And you still hope he will be at some point. But they're not, internally, they weren't moving on from Cedric Mullins for Colton Cowser. They didn't want Colton Cowser to play center. It was a priority for them. The priority is, can Colton Cowser play baseball? I think you hope that a 2-hit game gets that going. What? You don't know. Everybody can keep saying, well, they think Enrique Bradfield's going to be their center fielder at some point. Right, but like when? He's barely played. And we certainly don't think he's like an outstanding offensive player. What did they move on from Cedric Mullins for? What was the reason why it couldn't be Cedric Mullins? And you can tell me, well, Cedric Mullins is limited, and he's certainly a streaky player, there's no doubt. But it's a complicated conversation. Is the plan that you're going to go look to, like, sign a center fielder in the offseason, spend money, go get someone? Because out of both sides of the mouth, we want to compete next year, but who's your center fielder? Your guess is as good as mine.
Jorge Mateo. What are you talking about?
But that's what makes this so weird. Is like I want to say to my kids, like, hey, this is how sports works. This is how baseball works sometimes. Okay, but somebody's got to play center field. And the answer sure as hell is not Dylan Carlson, with due respect. I don't know what the answer is. Let's talk about that. Talk about some other Orioles-related things. One of our friends, regular on this program, former Orioles minor leaguer, Pigtown sports content creator. He's our buddy Zach Moore. You hear him on the Bat Around as well. He is back with us this morning on GCR. Zach, what's going on, pal? How are you?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're all right, man. This is it's not the most pressing thing that faces the Orioles, but it is like a weird thing that I dealt with as I was writing about Cedric Mullins. Is like, I know in my heart, I know why you're moving on from Cedric Mullins, but really, do I know why it is that you're moving on from Cedric Mullins? Because I'm not sure I understand exactly what the plan is here.
I think they probably look at his value in this offseason to think that they have a chance to re-sign him compared to some other teams. I mean, I personally thought it was going to be Cowser. I mean, I was just listening to you a little bit before you brought me on. I agree with you right now. He's not where we thought he would be. And then they came out yesterday and said that he's not going to even play center field. So you just put yourself in a deeper hole for 2026 for what? They still have a chance to re-sign him. There could be a chance you could sign maybe Jared Duran if you want to get funky. But, I mean, I'm with you right now. You don't have a center fielder. I mean, I think they, like everything else this year, they put all their eggs in one basket, and those eggs were Bradfield staying healthy and playing all year and potentially being ready. And like you said, he's been hurt a lot. And just another thing on the list this year that has gone wrong.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's funny you say that, right? Because I think one of the things that people grasped to in Mike Elias's comments on Friday was when he apologized but said a lot had to go wrong and has. And, like, it bothered me a little bit the way that he said it, because it seems to me that the answer is more like the scenario that you created, a lot had to go right. I don't know that a lot had to go wrong. I think a reasonable amount, an expected amount had to go wrong to be here. I think the scenario where it works would have been the scenario where an abnormal amount of things would have had to have gone better than expected in order for this team to have competed for something significant. And I don't want to overreact to anything, because I get it when anybody's in front of a microphone. It's, they might be putting on a show, but it does make me worry that, like, they don't think the process was the problem, or that Mike Elias doesn't believe the process was the issue here, and that they don't need to dramatically do things differently this offseason because they just genuinely believe there was an awful lot of bad luck, and that's kind of the only story here.
I buy that about a 25%. I mean, a lot did go wrong. I think we all can admit it, but he set himself up for a lot to go wrong with the pitching, at least. Now, the position players, I don't think everybody really expected almost the whole team the first half to take a step back. I mean, and then the injuries after injuries after injuries, and then Basayo starts the season with an injury. Beavers kind of started the season pretty slow. Bradfield's been getting hurt nonstop, and then just more minor league arms getting hurt left and right. Like, you never can plan. I mean, you plan for that stuff a little bit, but not to the extent that it's happened this year. So at that point, I understand why he said the things that he said. I think he may have used the wrong terminology. Like you said, sometimes it's not the easiest thing on the fly to just speak into a mic and say the right things all the time. But I mean, no one can expect the season that we've had organizationally. You can't even build for it. Like you could try all you want to keep guys in place, and they did. I mean, they had Lariano to be able to fill into the outfield. They had Carlson as well. I mean, they took those steps, but I mean, the pitching was obviously ignored.
I think one of the – because obviously you're right about the pitching, but I do still think a lot of us were of the opinion, and they would say, well, that's why we went out and got Tyler O'Neill and Gary Sanchez, but none of us really thought those guys were the answer. I think this comes back to the Santander problem, and maybe that – like it always seemed weird to me that you were shifting everything to this group of five guys. Like, this is going to be made or broke by this group of five guys who, again – we all had an amount of faith in coming into the season, but to go, it sort of became all or nothing, right? Like, it's going to be these five guys or it's going to fail. And that always felt like a very strange way to go about doing business to me. And it's not requiem for Anthony Santander, because we all know the season that he's had in Toronto, it's been miserable. Would it have been that way in Baltimore? I don't know. But it was just always odd to me. Yes, we always thought these guys were going to be the biggest part of the story, but kind of shifting everything to them and saying it's sink or swim on you guys when you're trying to compete. Like, that's what you do at the beginning of a rebuild, not when you're in the midst of success. Like, that's the strange part.
Yeah, it kind of seemed to me like they really put so much emphasis on finding guys that could just hit left-handed pitching that they kind of ignored everything else, almost to the fact that they thought that this young core could hit right-handed pitching good enough. They needed guys that could hit lefties, and it backfired completely until Brandon Hyde got fired. Now, when John Mabry's come in, things have gotten a little bit better on from between both hands, lefties and righties. Gunnar Henderson's starting to look better against lefties again. Kowser is doing a little bit better against lefties, not great. Holiday has kind of gotten himself into that mix a little bit, but I mean, they put so much emphasis on hitting lefties, rightfully so. I mean, when you look at every good team in the American League, Skubal, left-handed pitcher, was it Cole Reagan's left-handed pitcher for Kansas City? Who's the freed up in New York,
right.
And then Crochet in Boston. I mean, everybody's ace was left-handed, so I get it, but it was like, they threw all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Zach Moore is with us here on GCR. Zach, you bring up Mabry. That's an interesting because a lot of people have given a lot of credit to Mabry, and I'm in this weird spot where I am still, I told you this months ago, I am frustrated by the fact that they haven't hired a manager. I think it's insane that they've let this time go by. I continue to watch these sort of bizarre defensive miscues or just sort of utter nincompoopery occur, and it's bizarre that everyone knows it's not good to have a lame duck manager, but the Orioles have just chosen to do it, and they can say all they want about wanting to have a larger pool of candidates in order to go get the manager, but like even if we think that John Mabry is making a difference, is he going to be around past now? All of this seems bad. It just seems that like anything that you want to say might be a positive, it feels like there's about 20 negatives that go alongside it.
That's been the story of the whole season, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. As a manager's perspective, Buck kind of jumped in early to finish out that one season. I don't think that happens too often, here and there. But I think most guys like to kind of just wait until the offseason to kind of, build their staff too, because it's hard to come in and work with a staff that's already been here under another failed staff and make progression. And then, you never want to get off.
But
on
here's
the
the
wrong
weird
foot
part.
and make people hate you.
What if you work with John Mabry? Like, hey, this guy has some value. I'd like to keep him around. Now you're bringing in a manager in the offseason that doesn't know the guy. And like, I know exactly what you're saying, and you're right that it's rare, but nobody can present to me the positive that comes from it.
No, I don't think there's a positive to any of this, to be completely honest with you, because like you said, a new guy could come in and just clean house. I don't know if they're taking the approach where they want to maybe follow St. Louis and do a whole St. Louis thing where they start with Skip, and then Skip keeps Mabry, and then they look at maybe one of these other guys for a hitting coach and kind of leave Mabry at that spot that he's in, at advisor. I don't know their plan, and they work in silence too, so they're not going to give us any clue either.
By the way, if that's what you're going to do, I would come back to why didn't you do that last week? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Skip Schumacher's available or presumably available. If he's not replacing Bruce Bochy in Texas, why not go ahead and hire him now and start getting this process moving? I will never understand what the benefit is of the way that they're doing it. Zach, give me your three things. Now that we're past the deadline, now that all those questions have been answered, give me the three things that are most interesting to you as you'll be watching the Orioles the rest of the year.
I want to see the defense get better because I feel like since the start of 2024 to now, we've seen it not rapidly decline, but we've seen it decline all across the field. Getting guys healthier, I think, will kind of make that a little bit better, hopefully. Gunnar himself has definitely improved a lot over this season here with just setting his feet, but the defense has got to pick it up. I got to see these young guys. We keep hearing about the core, and I'm a big fan of the core. They're good ball players. They're just not playing like the players that we think they are. I don't know if it's maybe just that we just overvalue them or overhype them. I don't know. I think they're great ball players. They're not playing like great ball players. They're not just taking that steps. They have flashes, they have glimpses, but it's not consistent enough. I want to see it get more consistent heading into 2026, and I just want to see some of these young guys throw the ball. I've been fairly, I don't want to say confident, but I've liked what I've seen out of Cade Stroud so far. Corbin Martin has shown some decent things, but bring some other guys up. So somebody actually brought it to my attention that Nunez that came over in the Mullins trade is up for Rule 5. So you got to see what he has, or you lose him this offseason. He's only been pitching for 1 year, but he was the position player for 3 or 4 years prior. So You have a chance to lose him this offseason, so he's already up in AAA, and they're going to see what they have. And Austin Vern's been moved up. So I like to keep seeing the young guys progress because, I mean, you and I talked about it, and you've talked about it on yourself. We don't know what 2026 brings, and you better start pushing the buttons down there to see if guys can come up and contribute, because if not, you're going to have to spend a ton of money just to compete next year.
And Zach, that's where I'm at, right? Like, and as you point out, I've talked about it. We've talked about it. I am skeptical that the Baltimore Orioles can compete to win something significant in 2026, right? Like, I am skeptical about it because to me, the roadmap is all of the following. It's, to your point, every single one of the five guys that we call the core has to be better. All of them. Like, every single one has to be better than they are right now. So that's step one. Step two is, and I think they need to add a legitimate veteran outfield bat. And at this point, to the point, probably a center fielder in order to do it. So that's hard to do because who's the viable, like, center fielder with pop that you're going to find? But that's what it looks like. Three, you also need Kobe Mayo to prove to be or in some miraculous world, Heston Kjerstad, I guess, gets another look. And like, you need one of those guys that you've identified that can be a bopper in the middle of the order to prove that they can be that guy. And you need your internal starting pitching options to be their best version. So Trevor Rogers has to be this guy. Kyle Bradish has to be helpful. And you need, Grayson Rodriguez has to exist and be in a rotation. And you still need two more starting pitchers, including someone who's a top-ish of the rotation starting pitcher. And you need 3 to 4 legitimate bullpen arms. And I'm willing to give you that, like, Tyler Wells might be one of those guys. But you need all of that to me to work out. And does that sound, like, reasonable? Does that sound practical that every single one of those things are going to happen between now and next year? That's
a $200+ million payroll. So that's We haven't seen that very often around here, if ever. Me personally, I want Kyle Tucker. I don't think Kyle Tucker long-term fits in Chicago with that wind. I think he wants to hit the ball at the ballpark. I think he's going to test free agency. I would give him a blank check.
I'd be enamored. I would be quite enamored with Kyle Tucker.
Honestly, afraid that they end up with Cody Bellinger to play center field. Unless New York re-signs him, which is it's possible that happens. But if he wants to test the waters, I think they maybe go that route if Mullins isn't available either. I do think they'd try to go after Mullins again. I do think they try to go after O'Hearn again. I don't know. I mean, your internal options haven't shown you anything. I mean, you got to go out and get something else until they prove it. I mean, listen, if you want to sign somebody at first base, Pete Alonso, and Pete's hitting really, really good, and then Kobe starts getting really, really good, and you can flip-flop them between the DH, and then all of a sudden you've got somebody that you can move later for another pitching. I mean, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. I mean, you need to open the checkbook for Framber Valdez. Don't rely on Bradish to be your ace. Coming off a major surgery like that, let him kind of ease in that 2 or 3 role. But the free agent market itself overall isn't great. So you're either going to have to outspend everyone, which isn't going to happen, or identify 2 guys and just overpay them and then pray to God everything else works out.
I am enamored with, in talking to a few people last week, I am enamored suddenly with the idea of trying to acquire Mitch Keller. And I don't know that they have – it's a weird thing where, like, it feels like Mitch Keller shouldn't demand. He's not on a cheap deal. He's not on a outlandish deal, but he's not on a cheap deal. And he's not Paul Skeens, right? Like, he's a good pitcher and a top-ish of the rotation guy. It seems like that should be the guy that you should be able to get without having to give up those guys that you have not wanted to give up. And I don't know that. I don't know what the centerpiece is of a Mitch Keller deal, but it feels like to me that's the type of move that after loading up a little bit more as far as assets are concerned, you should be able to try to go make.
I agree with you. I just think that because of the free agent market, Mitch Keller is going to be acquired by a lot of other teams. So they're going to be in a bind wherever they go. And you're just going to be in competition. The problem is you're not a winning team, so you don't have that in your back pocket to present to some of these free agents, even to some of these other teams. Now, you do have a fairly loaded farm. You should have more available than everyone else. You just have to part with it. And Mitch Keller could be what Zach Eflin is, give you a couple really good outings, have a couple stinkers too. But that's still fine in the major leagues. Zach Eflin and Mitch Keller are good pitchers, and I think they probably give Eflin a qualifying offer at this point.
Oh, I think there's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, $22 million I think is fine for Zach Eflin. It's kind of about base now for a quality arm
for projects, right? Like for guys that that's the reality of the cost of pitching, is that like $20 million gets you someone that isn't a sure thing. Like you're taking the $20 million flyers on starting pitching, and so I think there's almost no doubt. I think the real question becomes: is there still a world where Zach Eflin gets a better offer than that?
No, I don't think so. I was kind of poking around on Sports Track yesterday, and don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure, but it was either Michael King or Dylan Cease. One of them, the market value was way lower than I expected to see. It was below $20 million, which shocked me because I figured, we're just talking about an average major league pitcher makes about $20 million a year now.
There's no way.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check and I'll let you know. But I remember looking at it and I was like, and I want to say it was like 10 or 12, and I was like, there's no way that's one of their market values.
Yeah.
But if it is, all from 15.
Yeah, of course, right. Yeah, 100% by all means.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Anybody that they go ahead, Griffin.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I was going to ask. Yeah, if you could pick one guy out of what was it, like 16 guys they acquired at the trade deadline, who's the one guy that sticks out most to you, or you're most excited about?
Most excited, I don't know if I'm excited about any of them just because we shouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah, agreed.
That's not a knock on them. Probably the most interesting one to me was Figueroa, the first baseman, because they say the defense isn't that great. The outfield's pretty bad. The first base glove is okay, but the bat he's just got a beautiful swing for his age. And he's hitting the ball over the ballpark. He's hitting it out of the ballpark. He's a big body. I don't know if they identified that as a guy that they think that could grow into a 25, 30 home run guy. They seen something to want to acquire him. It's at 20 years old for him to be hitting the way he is. I'm going to keep an eye out on him. And then Butterworth too, just seems like a scrappy guy. He's not on anybody's top list or anything, but he's just got a good swing. He's fundamentally good. It just seems like a guy that could kind of come up and be that Ramon Urias for you long term, who just comes up and just does everything good enough and gets some good hits in some key situations.
You're trying to sell me on being excited about the next Ramon Urias, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, hey, he gave us a lot of good moments.
I appreciate that. That's all well and good, man, but they need better than that. They need more than that.
Well, he's not a top-ranked guy, but that's just, you need big leaguers at this point, so. Well, pitching wise, it's all remained to be seen. They're coming over. You're going to get a couple bad outings out of them until they get settled in, and the Orioles are going to identify what they want to change, and they're going to have them work on it and change. So the first couple outings are probably going to be pretty rough. So we really won't get a good gauge on any of those guys until next year.
Remind everybody where they're finding you, buddy.
Pretty much every single social media, Pigtown Sports.
That's at Pigtown Sports. Go check him out there, YouTube, and, of course, hanging out with Paul on the Bat Around on Sunday nights. Check him out there as well. Always appreciate you, brother. Let's talk again real soon, all right?
Appreciate it, guys.
Zach Moore, former Orioles minor leaguer, Pigtown Sports creator, trying to get me fired up about it could be the next Ramon Urias.
Well, maybe you need that guy. They won 101 games with Ramon Urias on the roster.
You're right, Griffin. They sure did. I felt like so bad trying to put together a 3 up, 3 down this week.
I thought about putting Cedric Mullins on there.
Just to.
Well, he did.
Had
a pretty good week.
He did have a very good week.
Action.
He did have a very good week. You're
week.
not wrong about that. I did think there were 3 good up candidates this week of guys that actually were Orioles for the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
But the down list is so I'm in the place where you are, where you're like, what am I gonna do? Beat up this guy? He's not even an Oriole. He's a guy. What do you want to do here? And they did go 4-3 for the week.
Yeah. It's
very
kind of positive, I guess.
Very
one of the few positive weeks we've had.
I guess, man. What a bizarro world we're living in. All right, we got to get a break. We will go 3 up and 3 down. We also need to talk some Ravens with Brian Wacker of the Baltimore Sun, so we're going to do that. We come back in. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, also brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star, which is back this October at Fair Hill in Cecil County. The 5th edition of the Maryland 5-Star. Maryland5star.us is the website for you to get your tickets. It is not only a world-class sporting event, it is a true celebration of fall here in the state of Maryland. Maryland 5-Star with the number 5.us.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from driveeasymd.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at driveeasymd.com.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
This August, give your game day an upgrade at Live Casino. Enter to win an ultimate football package. We're giving away over $50,000 in game-changing prizes on Friday, August 29th. Earn entries daily for your chance to score a 100-inch TV, a state-of-the-art soundbar, and so much more. Don't sit on the sidelines. Make your play at Live Casino at Erndale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smoka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green, and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Monday edition of the program. I did my first mock fantasy draft the other night.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Did you win?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Although I would have taken James Cook fairly early, and don't know how I would have felt about that, because James Cook, if you haven't seen, is holding in up at Bill's camp.
That'll get resolved.
Wandering out to the practice field, waving his little hat like he was Jimmy Dugan, and then he is just doing nothing. And then they're asking him afterwards, "Hey man, what's going on?" And he just says, "Business, business."
I trust him. He'll get it done.
That's what we always say.
So, of any of these guys that are requesting trades, do you think any of them end up on a different team?
The Cowboys are such a weird team to figure out that, like, you genuinely don't know. Like, you truly have no idea how anything ends with the Dallas Cowboys. They're letting an octogenarian who can't really... We spent the last 4 years...
Jay loves this.
...talking about how someone was no longer mentally fit to do a job, which then we replaced him with another octogenarian who doesn't appear to be mentally fit to do the job.
He's not an octogenarian yet, is he?
He's basically an octogenarian. I think he's 78, 79, something like that.
He's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
He's got his best years are ahead of him.
And we had no problem talking about it with the last guy, right? Like, when we all can see the mental capacities going for... And everyone can see it with Jerry Jones. Everyone on the planet can see that Jerry Jones does not have his faculties completely. Not that he was very good at this a decade ago, but you could at least say you can look at him and watch him do and just say, this is almost unfair to the guy. And yet, there's nothing anybody down there can do. They're just like, yep, but it's his team. Like, it's just so bizarre how Mickey Mouse some of these corporations become. I talked about this at WWE at the worst of the Vince McMahon. Like, Vince McMahon, all of these allegations came out, and the WWE had no power to do anything about it. He had all the power. It required him choosing to sell. Otherwise, he would have just been in charge for forever, no matter what awful things he had been alleged to have done. It's incredible how it works with some of these very powerful organizations that are worth lots of money where there's no structure in place. It was like watching Succession, where like every time the kids had the opportunity to like step forward and lead, and they just were going to vomit all over themselves. And it's, I God bless not being a Dallas Cowboys fan, because not my problem. Made this continue forever. But, like, somehow this weekend Jerry Jones is running his mouth about Des Bryant and, like, fighting with Jay-Z. And she's like, dude, what are you talking about? Are you going to pay Micah Parsons or not?
Yeah, well, after, I don't know, 6 weeks probably.
They're
2-4. And
I got it. I'm going to have my computer. Again, I have Griffin's computer with his very specific type of porn. Which, look, man,
I thought I was doing you a favor, honestly.
I do feel like you're kind of introducing me to something, and we'll see. It might change my life. I don't know.
Am I gonna be able to get that laptop back? Is that what I need to be asking? Am I gonna?
Oh no, I mean I can screen cap things and share them with myself. Like, I can go that route. But like there was a statement. Hang on. I gotta find this statement that was put out by Rock Nation Sports this weekend, because it was just so weird. Like, what?
In response to
Jerry Jones.
Micah, okay.
Yes. But had nothing to do with Micah Parsons. This is a statement put out by Rock Nation. I just need you to know, today, what was the date? This was August 3rd. August 3rd, 2025.
It was yesterday. Yeah.
Rock Nation Sports, a major player agency, sent out the following statement.
Oh, my God. What?
In 2015, at the 21 Club, on a napkin, Jerry Jones, Juan Perez, Sean Jay-Z Carter, and Stephen Jones negotiated a 5-year, $70 million deal, which included a $45 million guarantee and a $20 million signing bonus for Des Bryant. At the time, it was the second largest contract for a wide receiver in NFL history. The claim that Mr. Carter or Rock Nation representatives did not return a call from Jerry Jones is not only a false statement, but it's also a comical one. What? What? What?
I'm glad they cleared that up.
What the F is going on? Imagine working in Dallas today. Imagine.
Probably, I mean,
it's great
easy.
content,
yeah,
no doubt. It's great for content. But, like, how do you follow the bouncing ball,
you're
man?
Me, you're like, call Jay-Z, right? Is that what you're telling
right,
me?
Yeah.
Like, we gotta get to the bottom of this.
But you're rehashing
something from 10 years ago.
10 years ago, a contract signed by Des Bryant, to the point where the agency has to put out a statement about a contract from 10 years ago while you're trying to figure out, is Micah Parsons going to be a Dallas Cowboy? Imagine, it's so ludicrous that you can't even stay with it.
This is a good one. Someone said Jerry Jones coming back to remind everyone that he's the worst executive in Dallas after the Nico.
Right.
The debacle, and it's the Pete Weber.
Who do you think you are? I hold my beer, man. Like, God damn, imagine trying to handle this. Like, we're frustrated about what's going on with the Orioles, but at least, like, it's in front of us. At least it's not trying to rehash, like, they would require them to have signed somebody 10 years ago, so I guess.
Davis, yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
It's like trying to figure out what's going on with the Orioles requires us to work through the Chris Davis contract again. Like, it's just so bizarre, man. What a bizarre world. So, yes, when you say, like, could any of them be dealt? I don't know how this works out with Micah Parsons, man, because it requires figuring out what an octogenarian who no longer has his mental faculties is going to do. And how could anyone have any clue how that's going to play out? How, Sway, how? Imagine, like, being one of this dude's kids and, like, you just want the gravy train to keep going. Like, just like, come on, man. Just keep this going until the day he kicks the bucket. When all you want to do is be like, hey, man, so maybe you're not the guy anymore. But the moment you do that, the gravy train is over. You're losing your ride. Could he get dealt? Absolutely he could get dealt. I don't know how the Terry McLaurin thing gets played out, right? Like, you can make the argument that, you know, he's a little bit older, and so it doesn't make sense to pay him a certain amount of money. But, like, dude, you really going to cash in your chips the first moment that you have that your team has been relevant? And I don't see that being the case. Let's talk a little Ravens. They held a stadium practice yesterday. Obviously, the headline was the kicking. Joining us now, he, of course, covers the Baltimore Ravens for the Baltimore Sun. He is Mr. Brian Wacker, and he's back with us here on GCR. Brian, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up, man. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Thanks for having me on, Glenn.
It's good to talk to you, dude. I'm the wrong guy for this. I don't know how much you and I have talked about this over the years. Part of the reason why my relationship is soured a little bit is that I can't pretend like things matter that don't matter. So, like, is it better that Tyler Loop made his kicks at a stadium practice than if he had missed them? Absolutely, sure. For esoteric reasons, for, you know, it's that line from Tommy Boy, right? It's the guarantee fairy. You know, your daughter's not missing. Like, that's neat. But does it mean that Tyler Loop is going to be the kicker that the Ravens need him to be? Doesn't mean that at all. I don't know how to appropriately state whether or not Ravens fans should be excited about the fact that Tyler Loop made a 60-yarder at a stadium practice yesterday.
I mean, look, it's August, or what was August 3rd yesterday.
Yeah.
We're still just over a month away from the start of the season, and, you know, this is the time of year to get excited about stuff like that. So I certainly understand fans' enthusiasm. We saw it yesterday with this sort of build of anticipation as he set up for that 60-yarder, and then him making it, and of course even playing to the crowd a little bit of time, flapping his arms. So, you know, look, it's early August. But that said, to your point, at this juncture, I think you just have to take it sort of in these micro steps. And, you know, there had been a little maybe concern with some of those misses we saw earlier in training camp from Tyler Loop and the now jettisoned John Hoyland. But, you know, look, I think when you watch Loop kick, you know, he looks the part. Is he going to be Justin Tucker? Let's, you know, just from a kicking standpoint, let's pump the brakes there. Obviously, but, you know, he certainly has plenty of leg strength. I don't think that's in doubt. I talked to their punter yesterday, Jordan Stout, after the practice, and he talked about how, you know, he said, look, I don't want to say anything about Tyler Loop's setup beforehand, but in his process, but it's a lot better now. You know, and that's always the case with these guys, right? A couple of months into it, they get to that NFL level where they go through, at least the guys who are capable, they go through, you know, some tweaks and changes. But I think the thing that has stood out is, you know, the ball coming off his foot sounds, you know, like a professional kicker, as it should, and a guy who, again, has plenty of leg strength, seems to have pretty good accuracy from what we've seen so far. I mean, has he made every kick? Obviously not. But, again, this is, you know, I don't think fans should be concerned, which was obviously the case when you go from a potential Hall of Fame type of kicker and Justin Tucker to an unknown, but I think so far so good.
One of the things that I had been told, just by someone who would know, was that like this never was intended to be like a genuine competition. That Tyler Loop was their kicker. That's the reason why they drafted him where they did. Like they had identified him as being the guy. And the other thing I had been told was that they don't believe that the kickers that would be available, like, say, week 8, if they get to a problem with Tyler Loop, are any different than the caliber of kicker that's available right now. And so they intended to give him some leeway. They intended to give him the opportunity that he basically had to lose the job in the regular season. And so I got the sense that, like, maybe even part of the decision to drop Hoyland when he did, and this is me spitballing, might be they didn't want to create a competition. Like, they didn't really ever want there to be a world where, you know, your guys like you, and rightfully so, you're doing your job, are tweeting out everybody's numbers every day, and somehow, like, the fan base looks up one day and says, boy, Hoyland's actually made a higher percentage of his kicks. Like, I've always gotten the sense that they intend for this to be his job, and maybe it's better that they just don't create a distraction and they allow it to be his job until or unless at some point they have to make a change down the road.
Yeah, and I think that's a logical approach. Look, I mean, I've talked to people in that building who said, look, this is, you know, he's the favorite, being the draft pick, and that's always going to be the case, right? And unless there's something that's off, or unless somebody just really wows you, that's an undrafted guy, a la the way Tucker did when they were going through that change with Billy Cundiff. So, yes, and they're 100% right. Look, they could bring in a veteran kicker now. That same guy is going to still be available in 2 or 3 months from now if they run into problems with, or, you know, Tyler Loop struggles with his kicking. And, you know, look, the numbers had been, I believe, were like identical when they made the decision to jettison John Hoyland, and, you know, essentially giving the job to Tyler Loop. I mean, it's his to lose at this point. I think things would have to go pretty far south. And yeah, look, I think all things being equal, sure, from a statistical standpoint, you look at the two kickers, it was pretty clear that Tyler Loop was the better option when you watch the guys kicking, when you hear the ball come off their foot. So I think they just sort of made that decision without officially making that decision, to your point.
He is Brian Wacker, the Baltimore Sun. He's with us here on GCR. Brian, I always say this, you know, like it's an awkward conversation because the only thing that really matters with the Ravens is the thing that we can't have an answer to for like 6 months. What are the things to you that either you've already gotten some feeling for through training camp or you're still interested in before they play a game? What are you still kind of paying attention to about the functionality of the team? There's not a whole lot of roster spots available, but who might still make the roster? What are the still interesting storylines to you as we get into preseason games this week?
Yeah, as you said, look, this is a roster with not a lot of openings, at least when it comes to starting jobs. It's just not. There's just way too much talent. Obviously, injuries can change that. Yep. We've already seen that with our Darius Washington going down, probably going to miss the entire season. Maybe he's back in time for, you know, the end of the season or playoffs potentially. But at that point, you know, he hasn't played football in ages, so you don't know what you're going to get at that point. To me, the thing that stands out to me so far is that I think this defense has a chance to be really elite again. I talked to Zach Orr for a piece I wrote earlier this summer at the start of training camp on his second year, and I think he is just much more prepared. I think the staff around him is much better. There were clearly issues when you look at the coaches that are no longer here in terms of them coaching that scheme last year, hence why they're no longer here. I think bringing Chuck Pagano back could be a really brilliant or great move and work out really well for this team. But I think Zach Orr has a command of this defense that he didn't necessarily have this time a year ago. And I think the other coaching changes they've made, along with the personnel changes they've made, you lose a guy like our Darius, who played really terrifically last season. but they just plug in Malachi Starks, who might be the next coming of Kyle Hamilton for all we know. So, you know, I think when you look around this roster, there's just a lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball. Jair Alexander brings that swag to this defense. I think that was missing in terms of secondary guys. We've seen it even rub off on Nate Wiggins, who I think is going to be, you know, in that, not a one, you know, top 5 corner in the league, but, you know, not too far down the list either. So to me, that stands out. I'm really curious on the defensive side, though, that 5th linebacker spot. You know, I think the top 4 are accounted for between Van Noy, Owe, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, and then you look at Ajabo or Isaac. I've not really seen much from Isaac this training camp. He just lacks kind of the explosiveness you would expect. Hasn't really kind of struggled getting off blocks. Ajabo is, you know, I mean, he's had we all know his story. He's battled injuries and has struggled to stay on the field, but he's looked pretty good in camp. He's shown some good moves, some explosiveness, gotten into the backfield. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to watch. You know, offensively, talking about yesterday's practice, Tylan Wallace had a nice day, made a couple of nice catches on Lamar passes. So you look at him as probably that number 4 receiver behind, you know, Flowers, Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins, who, by the way, I mean, as we all know, you know, anybody who hasn't seen this guy, I mean, just Mr. Contested Catch. He's just still terrific, even at almost 33 years old, I think. You know, and then beyond those 4 guys, you know, that 5th and 6th spot, I mean, Ted Walker's looked really nice. He had a really nice camp, but he's dealing with a little bit of an injury, a soft tissue, kind of lower body thing, apparently, that shouldn't keep him out too long. He was back yesterday, but didn't really participate in the team stuff. And then that 6th guy, LeJohntay Wester, I think, you know, we haven't really seen him return punch yet, and so that'll be something to watch in this Colts practice and in the Colts game, because I think they view him as, you know, kind of the guy they'd like to have as their punt returner. Of course, Tylan Wallace could fill that role as well. So, you know, there's just not a lot there. Running backs are set, tight ends are set. Even with Likely going down, I mean, you know, they brought in a couple of guys, veteran guys, as really bodies as backups. But I don't expect them to do anything there. You know, Trenton Simpson, I think on defense, what are we going to see from him? What are we in year 3 now? A guy who really struggled last year and, you know, looks better this year. But, you know, again, this is a team I think you're going to see play a lot of nickel and dime defense. You know, sure, there's going to be times when they play their sort of quote base in those early, you know, 1st or 2nd downs. But I think you're going to see all those defensive backs and this sort of positionless defense in that secondary and even into the linebacker core. And you'll see, you know, a good amount of disguise, and it'll be really interesting. If everyone's healthy, I think this defense, again, can just go back to being elite.
So you bring up the defense, and I'm going to give away a little bit. I'm writing about this for the next Press Box print issue, but everybody asks me, and I'm sure you get this every time you have a conversation, because we all do these things all over the country, and somebody, hey, how's it going to be different for the Ravens this year? And, you know, I don't have the answer, right? Like, they're going to go out, they're going to play in the playoffs, and they're going to hope they can win this year. But the one thing that stands out to me in the research that I've done, Brian, has been that they've just been kind of lacking the big plays defensively in the playoffs. Yep. And the numbers that I've got is that in the 8 playoff games that Lamar Jackson has played, they've recorded a total of 12 sacks in those games. And in their 5 playoff losses, they've been out-sacked 21-7. And in the 8 career playoff games that Lamar Jackson has played, they've recorded a total of 2 forced turnovers. And so I come away with, like, not to put too much pressure on the kid, but, like, I feel like Mike Green almost sort of becomes this sort of wild X factor for this team as far as, like, what needs to change from a football standpoint, not just from sometimes the ball bounces the wrong way, but, like, what do they actually have to do better in the postseason? Like, it does feel like they need to make bigger defensive plays, and it's not all on Mike Green. It's a lot to put on a rookie, but they need someone who can be a wrecker, who can kind of finally be that guy that they don't have to scheme up pressure for, that can just go win and make those game-altering plays.
I asked Chuck Smith about this last week because you look at the Ravens last season, second in sacks, but when you look at the pressure rate, kind of middle of the pack or even lower part of the pack. And look, some of that, Chuck said, is, scheme and coaching from the standpoint of you're playing a lot of mobile quarterbacks a lot of the time these days. And, so you're not just pinning your ears back and going after these guys because they get loose and now it's a different problem. So I get that. At the same time, to your point, all you have to do is look at that Buffalo game from this past January, and 0 turnovers for the Ravens defense.
Yep.
Not a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. That's been kind of a theme. We can go back a couple of years ago. Certainly the defense was elite back in 2023, both in terms of putting pressure on the quarterback and sacking the quarterback. And so I think they look at Mike Green as that kind of hopeful game record. Now, will he be that right out of the box? I think we'll get a better sense of that in these preseason games. I think we'll see him a good bit. We've heard John Harbaugh talk about how, hey, most of the top guys aren't going to play, but certainly I think some of these rookies, including Malachi Starks and Mike Green, are going to be on the field at times. So you're going to get a sense of what they can do against other competition. And, they need that guy. They need Mike Green to be a disruptor. They need Nnamdi Madubuike to be a disruptor up the middle. And look, he faced a ton of double teams last year. I get it. But you look back at that 23 team, part of the reason they were so good is because Jadeveon Clowney was that guy who had a kind of renaissance year, a turn back the clock type of season. And then you look at the back end too, and the turnovers, and these guys they just weren't not getting interceptions, and that was true of the regular season. It was certainly true in the postseason. They had 0 turnovers in the postseason last year in terms of turnovers forced. So that's something that's got to change. And you bring in a guy like Alexander, a guy who, can get the ball and sort of is infectious to other guys like Nate Wiggins, who has that capability. And you bring in even a Malachi Starks. You look at his college career, he was a guy that made plays on the ball, got his hands on the ball. I think he had 6 interceptions in his career in 3 years. Now, some of those, look, he was playing in different spots in the field and asked to do different things, but he's a guy who typically can get his hands on the ball. So we know what Kyle Hamilton can do. We know what Marlon Humphrey can do, all pro in the slot last year, and looks terrific so far. So I do expect them to force more turnovers and create more problems for opposing offenses in that regard this year. The big question, much like the offense, is will it translate in the postseason? And, to your point, 6 months from now, that's all that matters at this point. We know what this team can do in the regular season. We know they're going to be in the playoffs. The key, I think, for them is to try to be that number 1 seed so you can get home field. I know it didn't work out back in 2023, but I think this is a different bunch. And, you give them the top seed playing here. I like their chances a lot better in that scenario than having to go on the road against Kansas City or Buffalo and winning in those environments in the postseason. And I think that's been, as much as we harp on Lamar and his postseason performances, the defense, to your point, just does not come through to the same level it has in the regular season in the playoffs.
That's the reality. I assume that you do not believe they will find themselves in a Micah Parsons conversation.
No, look, at any time any big name player becomes available, or there's a trade rumor, it's the Ravens fans clamor, but no, we're not going to see Micah Parsons here. Good luck trying to fit that contract on this roster, number 1. So I don't see him going anywhere. Frankly, this is often part of the business when we see these trade demands happen. So I would not, I don't see Dallas sending him, frankly, anywhere at this point or anytime soon. So, and that includes the Ravens. So, no, I do not expect them to be part of that conversation.
Are you at all jealous of the absurdity? Like, is there a part of you that's like, man, I kind of wouldn't mind covering the Cow. It's just such a circus every day. Like, is there any?
I'll tell you this. One of the reasons, like, I've covered the Ravens now. This is my 3rd season.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I took this job was because they're perennially good, interesting, and Lamar Jackson's a Hall of Fame quarterback. And So you either want, as a writer, journalist, you want either, greatness, or you want a train wreck.
Yep.
You don't want anything in between.
Yep.
Don't give me
the Tennessee
18.
Titans, right? Yes, exactly right. Just irrelevant, just completely irrelevant, boring, nothing there. You're you're right. It's not bad to cover greatness, and if you're not going to cover greatness, give me the circus. Sign me up every day. Of course. By the way, I would encourage you to read. Brian wrote a piece, and I apologize, I don't know how to pronounce the name. The official that the Ravens brought in to work with them on penalties. Tony Michaelic. I apologize for not knowing how to pronounce it, but that's a really interesting thing that I think a lot of people have talked about. You can go read that and more at BaltimoreSun.com. At Brian Wacker 1 on Twitter is how you follow him. Brian, is there anything else I can plug for you, man?
No, that's pretty much everything. You can follow me on all the socials at Brian Wacker 1, be it Instagram, be it Twitter, now X, Blue Sky. All of it, of course, BaltimoreSun.com. You can read us pretty much every day. We've got wall-to-wall coverage between myself, Sam Cohn, Mike Preston, a number of others. So I'm excited. We're finally inching closer. We get, these joint practices are terrific. It's essentially the only time we're really going to see the starters play in what amounts to a game in the preseason. So, from a coverage standpoint, that's great for us because we get to see Lamar Jackson play against, real competition outside of, his teammates. So they've got that one coming up. And, of course, the one against the Commanders out in Ashburn later this month. And, yes, the Tony Michaelic story, really fascinating. Of course, everybody knows the Ravens penalty woes from last season. So what did John Harbaugh do? He went out and brought in a former official, similar to what the Bills had done last year, I believe, with another official whose name escapes me at the moment. But, look, we've seen penalties be a problem through the first couple of weeks of camp, fall starts especially. Harbaugh has talked about this. They've talked about cadence. You'd rather see it this time of year than you would come the regular season. So I think from a fan standpoint, you're hoping they're getting all of those out of the way now as opposed to September and onward. Look, some of it's going to be the cost of doing business, these penalties. It's the ones that set you back and kind of get you off schedule that have been really problematic for this team. And that all, again, ties into that. We've seen some slow starts the past couple of years from this team in a variety of ways, and you simply can't avoid that or can't you want to avoid that, especially given a tough schedule with a handful of playoff teams on their schedule right out of the box. So those are games that, they need to win. And you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot with silly, undisciplined penalties.
No doubt. Brian, appreciate it, man. Enjoyed it. Let's do it again real soon. Thanks for hopping on, taking the time for us this morning, man.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, buddy. Brian Wacker, Baltimore Sun, with us here on GCR. Appreciate him doing that. Today's show also brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. John, run in here for a second. Where's John Colson? Come here. Lift your shirt up. Let everybody see. How's it going? How's the process going? So everybody knows that I've been doing the peptide treatment.
Yeah, 11 pounds, man.
11 pounds?
11
and how? In what amount of time?
3 years. No kidding.
Hang on. So that's
almost exactly a month.
So tell me what it is.
It's the GLP-1.
Okay.
And I give myself a little shot every Sunday.
Okay.
And I don't like shots very much. It's completely painless.
Is it, right in the butt or like where?
No, it's right. You grab a piece of fat, and I think the thing is when the fat's gone, you can stop taking the shots. I'm not sure.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm pretty sure that's not how they
where would you do it, right?
But,
yeah, right.
But it's been
but you don't have to find a vein. You just shoot it right into the
right
fat.
Yeah. It's just under the skin. And it is
might be next on my list.
I'll tell you what, it's painless and it is so freaking easy because the only difference now is that I get full.
Right, and that's the idea.
Okay, so last night we went to a little place near where we live called Little Havana. Little Havana has phenomenal food.
The paella at Little Havana.
A little shout out to Little Havana,
I'm very familiar.
Fantastic.
I assure you, spent many an evening at Little Havana.
And it comes out with 3 of the burrito tacos. The burrito is incredible there. And I ate 2 of them and a little bit of the rice. And I was just full. It wasn't like I did anything. I was just full. So ultimately, you're eating less calories. The hard part is if you don't want to, what what do they call it? Like Ozempic face or something like that. It's people that lose weight too fast and they like droop and their skin.
Yeah.
You gotta I'm really concentrating on having a lot of 100 grams of protein every day, for instance.
Okay.
I'm concentrating on fiber, stuff like that, so that as my weight goes down, things don't start to hang from my body.
Yeah, it's awkward. Yeah.
I'm working out more. I'm doing stuff like that. And the key is to eat healthy, and ultimately what it's really doing is just you're eating fewer calories.
Yep.
And if you're eating the right calories, then it works exceptionally well.
And you just decided on your own? Did they have to
Decided on my own. I've been around the same weight for 2 years. And, and it's not where I want to be. And I talked to him about it. I talked to him because, we were working with him.
Well, and that's the thing, right? You're just looking for an honest answer. I asked them about it. They said, when I brought it up, I said, I don't know. I'd like to take a few pounds off, but I'm not unhappy with where I am. They were like, you're probably not the person for this. Now, it's not gone the other way. There might be a point at which I say, I'm kind of bothered by that. It's frustrating for me because I go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how am I back up to 200 pounds? How is this? I don't, what is going on here?
My metabolism, brother. I'm not, I am not eating a particularly bad, it's not perfect. I go out with my friends on Thursday night, we have beers, but I eat a pretty healthy diet.
Yeah.
My metabolism, I'm 63. My metabolism came to a screeching halt 10 years ago.
It's hard to explain, man. You just reach a certain age and it ain't the same.
It seems like no matter how much I work, and ultimately it's calories in, calories out. That's ultimately the deal. It's how you do it that seems to make a difference. I strongly, they've been fantastic. And I'll give you an example. The peptides that you're taking, they recommended that I don't take them until I speak to my primary doctor.
That's fact.
And the reason is there's prostate cancer in my family. And so I just appreciate the fact that they're not trying to sell stuff. They're like, you know what? Before we would do anything like that, we would really want to talk to your 100%. Primary doctor to make sure everything is cool.
Game Day Men's Health. GameDayMen'sHealth.com is the website.
Yep.
Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, 443-264-4454. In Columbia, 443-266-3505. Or if you're headed out west, Game Day Men's Health in Frederick. Oh, Frederick. You can give them a call out there. It's 240-931-3717.
He said he's killing it out there.
Really?
He said Frederick is just killing it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why Frederick is the...
I don't know, but a lot of dudes rolling in there for
a lot
of different things.
I always feel like Frederick has an outlandish number of independent breweries, like microbreweries.
Well, you're right.
It just might have become Dude Haven out there.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of also a bit of a DC bedroom community, so they got that and the whole bit. So.
Well, good luck.
Guys, thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Appreciate that.
Game Day Men's Health. Appreciate everything that they're doing for us. When we come back in, our buddy Rob Long will join us. We'll get his thoughts on what's happened with the Birds last week. Whatever, Rob. I saw Rob shared a fun video of his son dancing at a party on Saturday. I wanted to talk to him about that. We got a lot to cover with Rob. That's next. Glenn Clark Radio.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
This August, the PGA Tour's best are coming to Maryland. The 2025 BMW Championship tees off August 12th through 17th at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills. See the top 50 players battle it out in the penultimate event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Don't miss your chance to witness world-class golf, fan experiences, and unforgettable moments. Tickets are on sale now at BMWChampionship.com. The BMW Championship, where legends take the lead.
This August, give your game day an upgrade at Live Casino. Enter to win an ultimate football package. We're giving away over $50,000 in game-changing prizes on Friday, August 29th. Earn entries daily for your chance to score a 100-inch TV, a state-of-the-art soundbar, and so much more. Don't sit on the sidelines. Make your play at Live Casino at Erndale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Monday edition of the program. I did not, unfortunately, get to make it out to the but, I didn't mention that Brent Urban did officially sign back with the Ravens over the weekend, and we see he's wearing Michael Pierce's number 58, kind of as tribute to him, which is neat. I did dig that. So I guess the visit went well. He was like, yeah, this all the Ravens, huh? Baltimore. I don't know. I could get used to this. Apparently,
you guys want me to play football?
Yeah, the visit worked out okay. So Brent Urban is back and gives them some depth. I did not end up getting to get out to the Savannah Bananas this weekend. It's a very complicated story, but it looked like everybody had a great time. I did watch a little bit on Friday. I guess I realized I had never watched the whole thing. Truth be told, it might not be for me. I think it's a fun spectacle, and if I would have gone, maybe I
think being in person.
I think I might have had a good time if I had gone, but watching it on TV, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I got a little too. I thought it was for my kids. My kids were like, yeah, we've never watched the Savannah Bananas. We don't know anything about it, so that's part of the reason why we did end up going. Glad I put all that effort into getting tickets. Glad I did that.
Well, it's content,
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes worth.
Jeez. Everybody appeared to have a great time that went. It's just the TV product did not translate to me. It was neat, all the moments. Buck Showalter, Adam, Nick Markakis, even Matt Wieters, which I thought was really cool because I will tell you, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, I think Matt has struggled a little bit. The Orioles have encouraged Matt to do more, and I don't know that Matt knew exactly what the reception was going to be for him. And so I think that had to be really cool for him to have that moment and feel the love, and that hopefully kind of clears the way for Matt to be more involved with the Orioles moving forward, which I think would be awesome. But a special weekend for those reasons. Spare me anything related to, I was the Savannah Bananas who drew 45,000 people. Spare me. Just, I can only be so banal. I can only do so dumb when it comes to takery. I can only engage in the lowest common denominator so frequently. I can't do that.
The Bananas win. So
thank you. Just spare me. Spare me any thought about that whatsoever. You have a brain. You can work through all of this in your mind. You can figure it out. I promise you. And if you can't, or if you're just purposely being obtuse for the sake of trying to get attention on the internet, then F off. So, moving forward, this man not purposely obtuse for the purpose of getting attention on the internet. You, of course, hear him on the Big Bad Morning Show on 105.7 The Fan, and see him on MASN. He is our buddy Rob Long, and he's back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend, and that was my shovel today.
Dude.
People who actually are sitting and comparing it to 2 games versus 81 games.
Yeah,
there are no playoff standings versus their playoff standing. And this is what gets me. For years, I never believed it. I think it's crap. But you've heard, well, I don't like going down there because of the crime.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is a kids' event, and you took your children down there on a Friday and Saturday night.
No one had a problem. No one.
And these are children. These are children. Dude, I'm with you. Sometimes, like, I wonder, Jeremy Kahn said it best. Do these people have the same rights as us?
Yep. Their vote counts just as much. Their vote counts exactly as much.
I don't get it, dude. Like you can't understand that this is one event.
Yep.
And this is not a baseball game.
Nope.
Baseball is the toy. It's not a baseball game.
Yeah.
Here's an example. If one of those outfielders for the Bananas did that backflip fly ball catch and dropped it, fans would applaud the effort. If the Orioles did that, fans would want them cut there.
Correct.
Right there.
Correct. No, I'm glad you point out the people that try to make it like a story about, baseball needs to recognize what's going on with the Savannah Bananas. Like, does baseball need to recognize what's going on with the Beyonce concert? Like, and say, boy, we need to be more like that. Like, it's a different thing. And that's cool. Like, again, everybody seemed to have a great time, and it was a neat weekend. This is not a knock on them, but it's not baseball. It's a different thing. And that's neat, and it's fun for people. But it's not like, trying to make some comparison between a show and a baseball game. Like, I watch The Sandlot on the 4th of July every year. I know it's not a baseball game because I have a brain. You're not watching a baseball game.
Here's the problem. You have these people online all the time, and instead of us making things a testament about someone, it has to become an indictment on someone else.
Right, correct.
How about applaud the Bananas for their promotion and their execution?
Yes.
And stop trying to indict Major League Baseball for stuff. 81 home games.
Yep.
81, man. And don't tell me it's all about where the Orioles stand, because if you look at right now on the baseball attendance records, you'll see some teams in the bottom half who are going to the playoffs.
100%.
That's just how it is. That's just how it is.
Yep. You can't control the weather. You can't control.
I hate talking about it because it sounds like we're dogging the Bananas, and I'm not.
No.
I think they do a great job.
It's awesome.
They do a tremendous job. I'm just so tired of the comparison all the time.
Yeah, there's nothing. It is not baseball. It's a different thing, man. And if you're not into baseball, like, and this is, it's something I say all the time. Your team's gonna lose. Like, that's sometime. That's the way that it works. Like, it's tough when you have kids. When you have kids, I got to deal with this with Mike. You had to deal with this with your kids, right? Like, I've got to talk about your kid in a minute because I saw that video this weekend and it was awesome. But like, it's tough for them. Like, my kids are going through it, Rob, about Cedric Mullins getting dealt. Like, they're 10-8. They haven't been here before. They don't know this. It is hurting them deeply going through it, right? But it's the thing that we always talk about. It's why, to me, sports are a regional thing, because we go through it together. And when it's great, it lifts all of us up. And when it's down, it drops all of us down. Like, that's why, to me, it's tough for me when someone is a Cowboys fan, Rashawn. Like, that's a difficult thing because, like, it's supposed to be regional because we all go through it together. We all feel it. It affects us all the same way. And sometimes your team loses, and sometimes things don't go the right way, and that's a bummer. And I'm not making it okay. I'm not giving, like, the Orioles a pass for how the season's gone, but that's the nature of being a fan, is it's going to happen sometimes. And you go through it, and it makes it more joyful when you get to experience the other things.
Glenn, can I get off of sports for 1 second?
Sure.
I'm in a parking lot right now.
Please.
And if I wasn't talking on the phone, I'd be recording.
What's going on?
I want to let you know, this is an empty parking lot, Glenn.
Okay.
And this lady has tried to back into her parking spot 4 times and she keeps crossing the line. 4. This is why driver's license should be not renewed.
You got to go take the test every. Yeah.
You should have to take the test. This lady is still. Now her friend is out of her car waiting for her and just threw her hands up like, what the hell are you doing? And she's getting out of her vehicle right now, and she still did it wrong. Glenn, there's 3 cars
just gave
in
up.
this lot, and they're all 3 spots at least away from one another, and this lady can't execute backing into her spot.
Can I ask how old this lady is, Rob?
Let me see. She's having a difficult time getting out of the vehicle. I'm going to say mid to late 60s.
Oh, man. I don't ever want to be accused. This is a tough thing because I want to show respect to our elderly, and it's a tough time going through that. But bro,
I understand.
Bro.
It is a tough time,
bro.
But maybe.
Oh, this is a tough conversation. All right,
he dropped 4 times.
Who's
backing into her spot, and on the 4th time she gave up, but she still got it wrong because the person to her left, if this lot fills up, is not going to be able to park in that spot.
Oh, God, man. All right, whose girl did Robbie take home on Saturday night? Who's
Did he not look like he was going on the dance floor?
Yo.
I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby.
Baby. God, he had purpose. He had purpose when he walked out there, man.
And he looked back at me knowing I was filming and realized, I don't care.
Yeah, right? No, it's better this way. He knows he's the main character.
Dude, that film was living proof that the stories I tell about that guy are not fabricated.
Man, that was iconic,
That
bro.
video footage was living proof. I do not fabricate about my son.
That was phenomenal.
He is a living legend.
That was phenomenal, dude. No one has ever knew where they belong more than your son did in that moment. He walked out there. I said, I know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what you're supposed to be doing with your life, but I'm supposed to be right here on this dance floor.
Who's dancing alone?
100%, man. I love that so much. All right.
Oh my God.
It's a tough thing, dude. It's never a good thing for the team to be in a situation where they have to trade their guys, right? It's not good. We all know that.
It's not.
The reality was that was what they were going to do, and you understand all of that. The one that I'm struggling with, Rob, is I'm hearing up my kids are sad about Cedric Mullins, and I'm trying to talk to them about Cedric Mullins, and I'm struggling with, but they're moving on from him for what, right? And I don't know what that answer is because I think a lot of people thought the answer was Colton Cowser. Well, they clearly are not prioritizing the idea of Colton Cowser being their center fielder. And I'm not even knocking that. They need to get him going offensively. I think it makes sense. Let's not mess with this. We got to get Colton Cowser to a place where he's the guy that we thought he was going to be. Could it be Enrique Bradfield in the future? Sure, but he's been going through injuries. We don't know when he's a Major League Baseball player. The part that I'm struggling with is I get that you're moving on from Cedric Mullins because he's a pending free agent, but what are you moving on from Cedric Mullins for? Somebody's got to be your center fielder moving forward.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't understand the love affair for him.
Okay.
I'm the opposite.
Okay.
I know he makes some brilliant catches in the outfield, but I've seen him over and over and over. I see runners take extra bases on
the
him.
arm,
like
100%. Yep.
That happens.
Yep.
That happens more than great catches. It's funny because that great catch he made that Saturday, I forget who they played. May have been the Marlins. Inning before then, there was a fly ball that landed 4 feet in front of them that should have been caught. I've seen that a couple of times. His offensive numbers have been in decline for 4 straight years. We live in a sports center generation where highlight plays are remembered more so than the routine that aren't made. I think Cedric Mullins is tremendous at making great plays, especially to his left and to his right. But I've seen too many times that, when he made the great catch last week at home in the 4th game of the series against Toronto, he made a great catch. The very next play, they scored the go-ahead run on a ball that he never got to home plate, that he was coming in on. An outfielder should be able to make a play on that play. So you give it, you take it away. I get it. Fans love Cedric Mullins. I think you love the idea of Cedric Mullins. You love the fact that he makes tremendous plays in the outfield, and he was part of the team before they were good. I get that. But when you talk about baseball metrics are wrong, they don't love him. Yeah, when the baseball metrics love your guy, you believe in the baseball metrics. When the baseball metrics don't love your guy, you don't believe in them. The baseball metrics have never loved them in the outfield. That's what we keep asking. Well, why?
But they've loved his range. Like, he's gotten obviously good. His range has been. But I get what you're saying. On the whole, correct. He's not viewed as a particularly high level, and a lot of that is the trade-off for an arm that's woeful. We all know that.
So when the team is not doing well and it's time to move on, then you do that. The team's not going anywhere this year, so you don't say, well, you keep them just in case you want them for next year. You're not keeping them. You know you can do better in free agency. You can do better via trade. You can do better with somebody in the organization. You can do better. You know what I mean? I would never put Dylan Carlson in center field. Well, what's the difference? At this point, really, what's the difference? He's not going to be in the – Dylan Carlson's not going to be in the outfield in center field next year. But my point is, for the rest of 2025, what's the difference?
I think
the team's going nowhere.
And I'm with you. If they're committed to, we're going to find an upgrade in the offseason, then that's a different conversation, right? And that might be where they are.
I think they are. I mean, I think that's the case. I think the point is we know what we're going to do in center field, or at least we're going to effort to do in center field. Let's get something for Mullins now because he is not in our plans. We have zero plans of moving on with Cedric Mullins. So if you don't have those plans, then get something for him now. I guess for me, I'm watching. I'm like, why is everybody so? I'm more upset about Ramon Laureano. A guy has over 800 OPS and has an option for next year of $6 million. That's the guy actually.
I was starting to wonder if that was Rob. I was starting to wonder if that was your insurance plan in center field, right? Was to say let's give Laureano the opportunity. And I get the idea. It seems like you got a pretty good return on the San Diego trade. That was the one place where it seemed like you made a difference, and it probably required you to do what you did. But like, you better, again, to the point, you better be planning on going to make an upgrade here because internally the answer doesn't appear to be there in center.
I don't know it because I didn't look it up, but I would love to know the defensive war for Cedric versus Laureano, because Laureano, he affects more than catching the ball out of the air. Laureano affects
his arm,
you advancing. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know the defensive war between those two because he is a weapon in the outfield. He is. If for a ball is hit on the ground and a runner on base, Cedric's a liability. Not is he just not a weapon, but he's a liability. Where Laureano is a weapon at that point. And there are more balls hit on the ground with runners on than you having to make a great diving catch in the outfield. I take nothing away from him, and I love Cedric. Personally, I love him. But I guess I'm just at the point where maybe it's because I've been coaching for so long that now I'm desensitized by it. But he's not a guy that's going to help you win moving forward. So I have no use to re-signing him. So move on.
Ramon Laureano's D-WAR this year was 0.4 for what it's worth. And I'm trying to pull up Cedric's just to have that answer. Because it is, I'm going to guess it was like 0.2 or 0.1 if I had to guess. But I'll tell you that in 2 seconds. What most interests you? He was, much worse. Oh, boy, this was his worst D-WAR year. He was a negative 1.2 D-WAR this season.
There you go. So like I said, Laureano, I didn't know the answer. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not great, but it's better than Ced because he's actually more of a weapon in the outfield. So that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. See, these are the times where I question, what are we watching?
Well, and again, Rob, to me the answer is it's really much less to do with Cedric than it is to do with what is the plan, right? Like, and that's the part that I'm trying to build what's the Orioles team that competes to win a World Series next year. You and I have talked about this before, right? Like, I was a month old when they last won a World Series, right? So like I'm deeply into that conversation. What is the math to them competing to win a World Series next year? And while I can agree with everything they did, I understand everything they did. It's trying to put it all into what does this have to look like? What do they need to add? Who has to be a lot better than they've been this year? And there's an awful lot of boxes to me that need to be checked between now and then to believe that they're in contention for a World Series next year.
I'll say this. What is the plan for next year in center field? I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's not the plan, I know it's not Cedric. So right now, you don't have to answer that. You don't know what trades they can make. You don't know about free agency. But if you know 31 is not the answer to that, then get rid of him and figure it out. It's not we don't know what the plan is, so you may as well keep him. No, we're not re-signing him. So it doesn't matter what the plan is moving forward. That part we can figure out. We don't have the answer to that yet, but we do have the answer to 31, and that is he's not going to be. So to me, that's the answer is it won't be 31.
I'm starting Rob, I'm just starting to worry about some other guys too, right? Like I'm starting to worry about what is Colton Cowser. I don't know the answer to that question at the moment.
I don't either. To be honest with you, I don't know. He strikes out a ton. He leaves a lot of runners on base. I'm with you on that, but that's an easier fix because he's got a lot more team control.
Right.
You don't have to make a
Oh
decision
yeah, you're not.
on
Yeah,
him.
correct.
You got to you have to make a decision on that. So they made that decision. If Colton Cowser were a pending free agent, it would be interesting to see what they would do with him. But he's not. And coming off a year where he was runner-up for Rookie of the Year is way too soon to make that call.
What is most interesting to you over the course of these last 2 months now? What are the things now that we know it's not going to be trying to compete to win, something significant, but what's most interesting to you that you're going to be watching about this team over the course of the next 8 weeks?
Most people will say Sam Basayo, and I get it. I'm not going to push back against that, but that is looking down the road. Right now, the most intriguing thing for me is the development of Kobe Mayo. I'm intrigued by that. What is Kobe Mayo going to be for the rest of the year? Because we saw this movie before. We saw Gunnar and we saw Westberg and guys like that. It mattered for them getting some playing time at the end of the season for that next season. Now, Mayo won't be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year because he's been on the roster too long. But this last stretch is a lot like Gunnar's and Westberg's were when they came up. Let this guy play. Let him put in some quality time to give him a jump start for the 2026 season if you indeed keep him, because I wouldn't be surprised if he's an off-season trade piece. Who knows? But you got to at least figure it out with him. I like Kobe Mayo. I think he's going to be a legitimate major league OPS type of hitter. I don't know what his batting average is going to be, but I see him being at least an 800 OPS type of guy, having the ability to do that. It's hard to predict what the productivity is going to be, but I think he has the ability to do that. So, to me, the most intriguing thing is how will Kobe Mayo develop for the rest of the season?
I'm enamored with the idea of going after Mitch Keller in the offseason. It just feels like that cost shouldn't be the untouchables. They couldn't possibly be looking for Samuel Basayo in a Mitch Keller deal. He's not as cheap as you think he is, and he's not as brilliant. That's the guy that I've suddenly sort of found myself saying, like, you want to start solving these problems, that's the guy I think you can make a move for.
So you think that's a Kobe Mayo type trade? Because I think Kobe Mayo is on the table.
I think he needs to be. But if he is, and that's the thing, if Kobe Mayo's on the table, and I'm fine with that, then it does come off to me like you need one more middle-of-the-order bat next year.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. I think this is going to be a very – okay, can we both agree that they didn't do enough last offseason?
No, I think that's obvious, right? Like, I'm not, I think everybody knows that. It's for Mike Elias to say a lot of things had to go wrong. I'm like, I know what you're saying. A lot of things did go wrong, but it felt like, based on the work you did, a lot of things were going to need to go right in order for this to have worked this year. Like, I feel like –
if we know a lot of things went wrong, we hear the ownership is also under question. We know that as well, right?
100%, yes.
So do you think this ownership group is going to allow this to happen again?
You would like to hope that this group would step in and say, nah, we're doing things differently.
David Rubenstein, number one, is a successful business owner. Number two, I don't underestimate the pull of Mike Arrighetti.
That's the one everybody keeps telling me about. That's the one everybody keeps saying to me. Yep.
Don't underestimate that.
Yep.
Don't underestimate that. I just don't underestimate the presence of Cal Ripken. Don't underestimate those things. I think David Rubenstein, number one, I love him as the front guy, the ownership, the main guy, because he's a successful business owner. And I think the angle that he took this year was, I'm coming into a team that won 192 games in 2 years. Okay, I may see some things that I don't really know about, I question, but far be it for me to jump in the middle of this right now while these guys got it going. Now, it didn't work. Okay, now I can jump in here because the things that I questioned before kind of came into fruition. So now let me say something. Now let me make sure everybody gets on the right track. Maybe make sure everybody's on the right page. As long as that page is one that I agree with, I think that's going to be the off-season conversation. We can be on the same page, but the page is not going to be all your page. We're going to write this page together.
Where are you with, like, I think I told you before I would have preferred for them to hire a manager in season. That, like, I'm so enamored with how it worked with Buck and the way the culture changed then that, like, I would have liked to have seen that for this group. But are you confident the manager they hire is a manager that has experience, that's been there, that's a big stick type of guy in the offseason?
No, but I don't think it necessarily takes that.
Okay.
I've seen managers with no experience work. I think that's such an old baseball cliche. Get someone with experience. I do. I think you got to get a guy who fits your what you want to do, your business model. I mean, we saw managers with no experience work. It worked before. I'm not saying you got to go with no experience. But I don't think you have to go with an experienced manager. You have to get someone who fits your business model.
Right. Get the right guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Buck was a great move, but there's no Buck Showalter out there right now. Because I don't want Buck Showalter.
Right. I get it.
I don't want Buck Showalter.
Everybody's hot and bothered about Skip Schumacher, right? Like everybody, that's the sexy name.
I like Skip Schumacher.
Yeah.
I like Skip Schumacher, but I'll also tell you this: John Mabry was not hired for.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
He has a purpose in this organization. I don't think he's the guy that's going to go away in 2026. What his role is going to be moving forward, I'm not sure, but I don't think he was a flash in the pan. I don't think that was a haphazard event. John Mabry was hired for a purpose.
It's an interesting, like, I want to believe that purpose is because of his relationship with Skip Schumacher, but to your point, could it just be because he's going to be the next manager?
You never know.
Yep.
And that's why I brought him up again, because you brought up Skip Schumacher.
Yep.
But those of you that talk about Matt Holliday, stop it. Matt Holliday then the last time a player who made the amount of money Matt Holliday made and more.
Yeah, just doesn't need it. Just doesn't need it. Doesn't have to happen.
They're not doing that. Yeah, they don't need that kind of stress. On top of that, he had two sons who are going to be playing Major League Baseball soon.
Yep.
Why do I want to be a manager and not be able to go to see both of my boys?
No doubt. No doubt about it.
I don't want that.
Not
but
happening.
high-dollar guys just don't, for the most part, become managers. I think the closest to it was Mark McGwire being a hitting coach.
Yeah, and I also would argue, right, it's just not a good idea, right? Like, I mean, we dealt with this with Cal and Cal Sr., where, like, it required the Orioles making Cal the highest paid player of all time to appease him in the aftermath of firing his father, which, in a different era, the Orioles were able to do because making him the highest paid player of all time was not $1 billion. Right. Like, you're not going to be doing that. I think that's a bad idea, hiring the father of a player on the team.
Because what was the rumor that Cal was going to the Yankees around that time?
Yeah, like he was legitimately not happy, and understandably so. Right? They fired his dad. I get it.
Fired his dad when you had a bad baseball team.
Correct. Nobody was doing anything with that. Are you kidding me? It was awful. And so, yeah, but they were able to overcome that because they said, here's the most money a baseball player's ever had before. And so.
It's like saying, give me a Yugo and let me drive across country.
Right.
So tough.
Right. Good luck, dog. All right. Are you on TV this week?
I'm back on TV the weekend.
This weekend.
I am going up to Philly on Wednesday, though, just as a Joe fan.
That's cool.
Afternoon game. Afternoon game. I'm going to get off at 10.
Drive up.
My vehicle at 10:30. Make the trek up to Philly.
That's cool. My
after the game, grab me a cheesesteak.
Where do you go? What's your spot?
D'Alessandro's.
So I love D'Alessandro's. Are you a John's roast pork person at all?
I don't eat pork, but I've heard it was great.
John's roast pork. And everybody tells me the cheesesteak. I always get the pork. Everybody tells me the cheesesteak is as good as anything in Philadelphia, too.
They have cheesesteak? I didn't know they
do. They have cheesesteaks at John's.
Pork.
Yep, they have. And everybody raves. Dude, it is otherworldly. But I'm a pork guy, so that does work for me.
You can't go wrong with a Philly cheesesteak. There's some places that.
Yeah.
This is me. Pat and Gino's are the Phillips seafoods of Philadelphia cheesesteak.
I'll let somebody else go.
when you go to a real Philly cheesesteak place, you can't go wrong. It's not about hype. It really is that good. It's better than everybody else. I don't know why. It's better than everybody else.
No, 100%. I give them – this is the thing. I'll respect people. Like, I'll never respect people in Pittsburgh who think that putting French fries on a sandwich is like a culinary creation. It's not. Like, it's just an anomaly. That's all that it is. You haven't added anything to the world. It's just different. The Philly cheesesteak actually offers something to society that we don't get other places. It's not the same.
It's food that makes you smile.
Exactly. We can respect that. Stop me with the French fries. Big Bad Morning Show, 105.7 The Fan. No Jeremy as he's going through his transition surgery right now.
He is.
Has he picked out a name yet? Do we know if he's going to be like Jennifer or what that's going to be on the other side?
No, not yet. But last week I asked him, I said, you getting surgery on your throat? He said, yeah. I said, what's your money maker?
Right.
He said, my throat. I said, yeah. And you do Sports Talk Radio.
I heard. What was who made the? Did Ed make the vasectomy joke this morning? That one was pretty good, actually. That one.
Snip.
That one wasn't bad. I enjoyed that. All right, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not getting that because they call it a snip. That sounds too close to snip.
Bro, no. I got mine done because I couldn't have any more kids, dog. Like, I know one thing.
Hey, man.
I can't afford the two.
You gotta get better at your pull-out game.
Hey, bro. Oh. Love you, man.
Oh, I can't say that. I'm sorry.
Not on the fan. Love you, buddy. Appreciate you. Let's talk soon, all right? See you, bro. That's Rob Long. Love him. That's our guy. Appreciate him hopping on with us. I know what he's saying about Cedric. I do understand exactly what he's saying about Cedric. And I did. In the column that I wrote today at PressBoxOnline.com, I allude to that when we love a player, we run the risk of traipsing into hyperbole about them. The first line of my column is make sure I have this right. Sorry, I'm getting all these porn pop-ups on Griffin's computer.
I mean, I don't know why you're complaining. It sounds like you're complaining.
He seems nice, like, for what it's worth.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. There's great danger in falling to hyperbole in moments like this. The truth is that Cedric Mullins finished his Orioles career with a 15.4 WAR, according to Baseball Reference, good for just 46th all-time among Orioles position players. We run the risk of remembering the best version of Cedric Mullins and not this version of Cedric Mullins, and I understand that. I disagree with Rob about there's no difference between Cedric and Dylan Carlson. I kind of didn't catch it as he was saying. I disagree with that because Cedric does have the knack for delivering the big hit, even as streaky as he is, even in the stretches where he would kind of be lost offensively, he did still have the knack for the moment. But I understand what he's saying is that the disparity between Cedric Mullins and Dylan Carlson probably isn't as great as we think it is because of the name Cedric Mullins. He's not wrong about that. I can't say they're not here, but it's not here either. The point that I make in the column is just when you do these things, you typically do them with purpose. As Zach alluded to, is it possible that in the offseason the Orioles look around and they say, Enrique is going to be here at some point this year. Nobody is looking to pay Cedric Mullins starter money. Could we find like a hybrid where we're saying to him, hey, man, you can come back here and you'll be the center fielder, but only until Enrique Bradfield's ready, and we'll pay a little bit more than might be on the table elsewhere? Is that possibly in play? I would never say never. It's just weird to do something like this without there being a plan. That's the part that strikes me. I know what Rob's saying. Well, if this isn't the plan, then go ahead and do it. And that's the 100%. I'm not saying they shouldn't have traded Cedric Mullins. It's just a weird feeling that makes it more complicated. It was easy to understand. We were all pained by moving on from Adam Jones, but you got it. They're going into a full rebuild. There's no reason for Adam Jones to be here in the midst of a full rebuild. It doesn't make sense. We don't know what the Orioles are doing. This is more an indictment on the circumstance than it is on the decision. The decision you get. Cedric Mullins is a pending free agent. We were able to get something for him, so we did. Got it. But what are you doing in center field? What about that part of it? Which isn't me saying you needed to hang on to Cedric Mullins. It's just the awkwardness of having the conversation. Typically, when you're moving on from something, you understand what's going on. There's a bigger picture to it all. You're moving on from Cedric Mullins for nothing. And to the point, if you had confidence the Orioles were going to go sign a center, like they know there are holes in center field, they've got to go out and spend real money and get the guy. Like if that was what you believe they were doing, this would be a different conversation. But do you believe that? I don't know what they're doing. It's a bigger problem than just Cedric Mullins. It's sort of like Cedric Mullins is stepping on a bigger, like...
Right. Well, because now
what is happening
it feels
here?
personal now, and like...
Yeah, there's something about... Like, it's one thing... You move on from
Corbin Burns, like it's... Obviously, he was the best player on the team. But
yeah, right.
Like,
it's not personal. You don't have the same relationship with him, but... I mean,
he leaves, and it's like, well,
all
right.
But we also understood then. By the way, your computer just died. What the hell is going on around here?
Really
Your computer just died. Just died. Just gone. Gone, Daddy. Gone. The love is gone.
So much porn.
Well,
typically I do that plugged in.
Trust me, I had not even heard of these websites, and I've heard of lots, like lots of them. And these were not among the websites that I'm like, what is this? Oh, damn! Now I'm not going to be able to do. Hopefully, I remember my 3 up, 3 down. Hopefully,
Did you? Oh, you hadn't sent it to me.
No, I hadn't sent it to you, and it hadn't saved in my email when I started it earlier, and so I pulled it up in your email as a draft. I started it.
So maybe I can look at it.
Maybe you can tell me what my 3 up and 3 down. God, what a day this is. Do you not have a cord?
Today I didn't bring it. No.
Ah! What is going on here?
I mean, actually,
what is
hold
this
on.
show?
Mine does work with this laptop.
Oh, okay.
So actually, here.
We'll give it the break. We got to take one more break here, and then we'll deal with that. Boy, man, that's all that my column sort of does. It's just it's a weird spot to be in such a place of unknown, and for it to involve like a centerpiece figure, someone that has been a beloved figure, is now thrown into this. What are you doing here? What is the plan? What's happening? In a weird way, I didn't think to write this column until I was just going to write a column that said, "Hey, thanks, Ced. Appreciate how solid you were and understand." But then, like Colton Cowser playing in left field this weekend, kind of inspired me to say,
"What's going on here?
What are we doing?" And I'm not, and it's not even because I'm opposed to it. I had talked about it for the last couple of weeks. It's just that, like, there really is no, the Emperor has no clothes. Like, there is no center fielder. There's nothing here. And it's different because center field is an important position on the field. Like, it's one thing if you say we don't have a first baseman. Well, somebody's going to play first base. Like, pick somebody. They're your first baseman. You can't do that in center field. You have to have a baseball player in center field.
Or Jorge Mateo, yeah.
Yes. Maybe they'll run Jeremiah Jackson out
Might as well.
there.
I mean, it can't be worse than right field, right?
Just going to keep trying. Hey, Chief.
You can read the ball off the bat a little bit better.
You move a little
center.
Shift a little more to your right, if you don't mind. Huh? That's what. Who was doing the game yesterday?
It was Ben and Ben.
Yeah, it was Wagner and McDonald. Both of them were kind of alluding to the idea that maybe Dylan Carlson needed to recognize
on
that play. But, like, maybe if you're Dylan Carlson, you're like, hey, we want to give this kid the chance. Like, this is a nice, easy one. Like, let him feel his way into playing right field. Like, I don't know, man. You got to catch that ball. Even if you're not a right fielder, I do think you have to catch that ball. Like, if a pitcher was playing right field, if you were that, you don't remember the glory of this. I brought it up recently when I think, oh God, our intern whose name now is blanking.
with big,
Who was our intern this
intern
summer?
Jake. Yeah,
intern Jake. Thank you. God, I know his real name, and I couldn't think of what his intern name was. But Jake, I was trying to bring that up to him and explain to him what like National League Baseball used to look like in the past, and double switching and all of those things. And I was like, you get to these like 17th inning games where you'd be out of position players, and you'd have to have a pitcher roaming in the outfield because you've used all of your pinch hitters to try to take advantage of, well, we just need one hit to win the game. And you'd have to throw Roger McDowell in the outfield. And he's like, huh? I don't know. What? Like, the European mind can't comprehend that.
Because he already understood baseball anyway.
Right,
so.
Correct. He was a big baseball guy to begin with, so now I'm really throwing it all at him. But, like, Roger McDowell running around in the outfield in the 17th inning of a 1993 National League Baseball game still has to catch that ball. Still. Speaking of baseball, did you watch any of the Speedway Classic?
I mean, I wanted to, and then it got rained out, and then I didn't really tune in at all.
Nightmare, man. I did on Saturday night. I turned it on. It was in a rain delay, so I put some other stuff on. Then I tried to come back to it. I watched it when it started.
Yeah.
The shame of it is that, and this is where like.
Apparently they ran out of hot dog buns.
So social media is a hell of a thing because the people that are inclined to go to bat for baseball, either because baseball's asked them to or because they're trying to suck up, because they want to, they're looking for clout. They want the attention of baseball. They want jobs. They want opportunities. Will share the images that were cool and be like, hey, you know, tough weekend, but they can't control the weather. Right, but all the other stuff, the logistical nightmare part of it that apparently became very clear, like, you can control that. And to say, well, like, that's, I think people said 35,000 fewer people than are usually at Bristol for an event. So there kind of is no excuse for running out of food.
Yeah.
There's definitely no excuse for the exorbitant, like, prices that you're asking people to pay for parking, like, which is nowhere. These are all, you can say, hey, this is a one-off event, this is a supreme event, but you also knew that you were intending to bring 90,000 people in. You were doing this to try to set a new attendance record. You've got to be prepared to host a 90,000-person event. And it's a bigger picture issue and what it is that we're asking. Like, they would say, well, hey, you know, think about everything we had to do. We had to, what was the story? How many tons of gravel they had to lay down just to level the infield in order to be able to put a stadium there. You know, baseball would say, like, it's going to cost us X amount of money to make this happen, so we're going to have to recoup that money. Somebody might say, well, maybe you can't do this. Maybe this is one of those things that sounds cool, but in the end, it just ain't practical. By the way, also, how did that happen? Didn't they just host a football game at Bristol like 3 years ago?
Did they? I mean, one piece
yeah,
of
it was the Virginia Tech,
okay.
the Tennessee game. They played, I don't remember how many years ago that was, but it wasn't, maybe it was it pre-pandemic? I don't think it was pre-pandemic. I don't know when it was. But they just had a college football game at Bristol. How did the field get so unlevel from that point to now?
Battle at Bristol. That was 2016.
It was that long ago? Really?
Yeah.
All right, I take it all back. That's a decade. A lot of things can happen in a decade. I take it all back.
Yeah, Tennessee, Virginia Tech in 2016.
God, how old am I?
You're pretty old.
It does not feel like it was that long ago. Jesus. I tried. By the time we got to Sunday,
I agreed with the people that said they should have just ran a race at the same time too. That would have been sick. You're just playing
do
a baseball
both things,
game, and there's a race.
Yeah, I don't think that you can do that. I don't think that's an option. But
why not? Why not? Huh?
Yeah, thank you. I did try watching it on Sunday just to see it. The problem was by that point it just kind of looked like a baseball game, and then I just realized I wasn't all that interested in the Braves-Reds regular season. I just wanted to see the anomaly. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And then
it looked cool because Austin Hayes, or when they were playing Saturday night, and it was
in a monsoon,
pouring rain. Austin Hayes had that RBI through. Someone was like through a lake at third base.
They were. That was
a lake at third.
That
base.
was also embarrassing. Like, I understood the situation they were in, where like all these people are here. We don't want to let them leave. Maybe baseball screwed up by not looking at the forecast and saying this isn't going to happen. If you're going to do this, you announce the day before that you're pushing it back to Sunday, and that's a bummer, but. You do that because you don't want everyone coming to the stadium. That's a nightmare, the scenario that you allowed to play out. But the little fire festival-y, that situation.
And then there was some people who had very obstructed views
and I think that some of that was done up for Twitter. Like they purposely found the seats that had the most obstructed views for the sake of getting attention on Twitter. So like some of that, the food part does not appear to have been a bit. That appears to have been a legitimate problem that they had, where like they just did not have enough food. And again, they might have been doing that math based around like people were not expecting to be at the baseball game for as long as they were. They got there early because I guess they did like a Tim McGraw concert ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so they've been here for a long time, so maybe people ate more food than you typically have at baseball. I don't know.
Again, it's a NASCAR. Like NASCAR races go for all day.
Dog, I'm not making excuses. This appears to have been a failure, which is a bummer because I like the idea of baseball doing cool things. Like I like it breaks up the monotony of a baseball season. It's very difficult for baseball to make people care about one individual game.
They did purposely, carve out. Nobody else was playing at 7:00. Like
so Fox couldn't like cut away to another broadcast, and they did everything they could to try to make a cool. And I want baseball to do that type of stuff because it's a long season and the monotony is real. And just having something else to look at. I've turned on the London thing for a second, then I realized again, just a baseball game. I'm good. I've turned on the Field of Dreams.
That one seems like the one that one worked. Like
that the look is the look, and people will continue to watch because of the look, perhaps. I mean, they're redoing the fields in Iowa, so they had to stop doing it. I thought the Negro League thing was great because the celebration of the Negro Leagues and everything that surrounded it, the shoulder programming, was very good. They tried doing those military-based games for a few years, and I remember the first one I was into, but then after that, it was kind of the same thing. The Little League Classic, the Orioles were involved, and so obviously we watched. The first year they did it, I watched. After that, it's kind of the same thing. But again, it's still cool for the teams that are involved and breaks up their monotony, and that's real too. It's a difficult thing, man. I don't envy the fact that baseball has to figure this out. That's the next thing on their list is how do we get people to care about games that their team isn't playing in? And I don't have those answers. Can you do enough of these types of events throughout the course of the year that every team can be involved in one of them? Can you do 16? Or I guess it have to be 15.
I mean, can they rig it in a way where, Saturday, Tarek Skubal and Zach Wheeler were pitching against each other. Like it just so happened that they were pitching against it. Like, can they just find a way to set it up so that when you have the Tigers involved, you make sure Skubal's pitching in whatever game
in that marquee game.
Yeah,
they can't do that.
I know.
They can't do that. But should they do a better job of when you run into these things, they make sure that game gets greater emphasis. Could it be that 2 days before you look at the pitchers and you line up and you see, I just bet into Mizorowski and then he gets hurt. Great. Awesome.
He's got time to come back, maybe. All he needed was 5 starts to make the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's true. So. But what was it was Mizorowski Skeens, right? Was the pitching matchup early on, but it was scheduled for it
was 12 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, on a Wednesday. Is that the type of thing where baseball needs to work with the teams and say, we're going to have more flexibility for us to say this is important for the sport. We are going to work with our network partner, whoever that is, and say we want to move that game into primetime on ESPN or whatever it's going to be moving forward.
And can they still do that? Because obviously it was a getaway day, so can they still...
It might. This is the type of thing where when you start working with the players,
after the 2027 season gets canceled and we figure
correct.
This out.
Football had to do this in order to get flex scheduling. There's certain things that they had to say. It's not great. And again, somebody would say it's bad for the fans. What about the guy that took off work that day and now the game gets moved? It's a problem. It's the same thing that football fans deal with when a game now they're allowing Sunday games to be flexed to Monday. It becomes problematic, man. They have to prioritize TV. That's where they're at. They have to prioritize the TV experience because the health of or broadcast, whatever you want to call it, because it's not on analog TV. They have to. That's how you grow the totality of the sport. Is the broadcast and the games that are on TV looking different, feeling like they matter, drawing people that don't just root for those teams. That's a difficult thing, man. That's why they want to do this Red Zone channel thing. It's what the Golden at Bat's about. They want to create a Red Zone channel. They think that can help. They want you to sit down the way that you watch Scott Hansen and sit down and watch all of the baseball games and learn who all the players are who are on every team when you're not watching your team. The way that we do. If the Ravens aren't playing the first Sunday of the season, the Ravens are playing at night, what are we all going to do in the afternoon?
Watch football.
Watch the Red Zone channel. That's what we're going to do, because then we can watch all the football. That's exactly what we're going to do, man. And that's what baseball wants. All right, we'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit, tubular, and 3 Up, 3 Down. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green, and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR. Yeah, broadcaster, man. On a Monday edition of the program. Coming up a little bit later on today, 5 o'clock, in fact, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Kenny Singleton talking baseball with you. 5 p.m. You can check that out live, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. If you miss it live, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan shows brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open at the Grandstand in Timonium. It's Monday. Let's do this.
Three up.
And 3 down.
3 Up and 3 Down is brought to you by Toyota.com, who's the proud sponsor of County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone, where you get all of your high school sports information, and we are just a couple of weeks away from the start of high school sports season here in the state of Maryland. Everything you need to know, scores, schedules, rankings, updates, everything you can find at countysports.zone. Again, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. All right, we tear down to build up, so I'll begin with the down. Unfortunately, I don't know if all of my numbers are right for these, so I did that bit where I started 3 up and 3 down, and then I forget that MLB.com updates their last 7 days.
Not until like the day reset.
It's not less than 7 days ago the Orioles played a game on Monday night, but MLB.com doesn't reflect that.
Oh, okay.
They reflect
today
as part of the last 7 days. It's very annoying, exceptionally annoying. But we'll ride with it anyway.
I thought we started using StatMuse.
Does that work?
StatMuse isn't perfect, but yes, it's the stats are typically.
All right. Well,
always
correct,
yeah.
You can tell me that. Number 3, Zach Eflin. I get it. Like maybe he was hurt, whatever, but he was bad, and it's still tough for me, like how to view all these relievers and the way to judge them. He was bad on Monday. Now the Orioles won. I get it, but he was bad, and would have been nice to get something in a trade, I guess, but that's a different conversation. Zach Eflin's number 3 on my list.
I mean, I factored the injury kind of into it. This guy's can't stay healthy right now, and that's part of it. So he's higher. He's my second guy on the down list. Dylan Carlson was my number 3. I mean, he was obviously awful, but again, to the point, how much.
I'm trying to figure out which of the 2 guys you left off your list, and that I can't believe.
Dylan Carlson went 0 for 16. He's third on the list.
I get it. I get it.
You're saying he's not on your list?
He's not on my list
okay.
because he's Dylan Carlson.
I know he was 0 for 16.
I understand.
It was bad.
I understand.
Eflin. I mean, yeah, to your point, he got hurt. It was a really bad start on Monday. He ends up back on the IL for this is the 3rd time now this season. And so you can't even trade him either. He has brought nothing to this team this year, and this week was another embodiment of that. So Eflin is my number 2.
My number 2, and it pains me because he actually got off to a good start to the week in his first appearance, but we've all been screaming about Kobe Mayo deserving playing time, and he deserves playing time, but then he gets it, and it's bad. It's bad. And save for that 3-for-4 game against the Blue Jays, which, again, it happened. I'm not trying to pretend like it didn't. But then after that, it was 0 for 16. And that included 7 strikeouts. It's just that's the type of stuff that, I look at where this team is and what matters. Kobe Mayo is very high on the list of things that matter to me the rest of the year. What we're judging, the way we feel about Kobe Mayo at the end of the year is very important. And so trade deadline comes and goes. There's no more excuses. He's got to be in the lineup every day. And that's what you have to show for it. And that's painful. It's painful because he's now under more what he does now matters more to me. So Kobe Mayo's number 2 on my
list. Yeah, Kobe Mayo's not on my list, and I guess I haven't gotten to that point yet where I don't have Kobe Mayo that close under the microscope yet. Just because it is kind of weird seeing him all of a sudden now, and he still didn't play because one of the games he didn't play.
Yeah.
One of the Toronto games he didn't play.
Yeah.
Or no, he didn't play. He only played one game of the doubleheader and then didn't play Wednesday. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean yes, it was a poor week for Kobe Mayo too. He escaped my list this week because again, I guess Monday was big. It felt like Kobe Mayo might be Kobe Mayo this.
Yeah,
might be what Kobe Mayo
Monday.
is.
I think to me that's
and
almost.
And then since everybody struggled against the Cubs, it just kind of diluted it. And
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing.
This week will be.
It's one thing if he's hitting a bunch of fly balls that are just getting knocked down by the wind, right? He struck out 5 times this weekend.
Yeah. Pete Crow Armstrong struck out 10 times.
That's a great point. He stinks. Yeah, you're absolutely. By the way, if we're doing a list in Chicago, I bet Pete Crow Armstrong would be on the list. We're not. We're doing a list here. Look, Dean Kramer's obviously number 1. God, is there anything more Dean Kramer than they're rolling? They've got a chance to sweep. They go up. They score some runs, and you're just like, all right, man. Only for it to be given right back. It's just the most Dean Kramer thing, man. And it's why no matter how many times someone tries to sell me on dude, you're not really looking into what Dean Kramer is. I'm like, no, I think I really am. I think I'm really looking into exactly what Dean Kramer is. And maybe I'm even being favorable. Like I've said before, that if you build your 2026 rotation, the only thing that you know definitively is that Dean Kramer is year 4. Truth be told, I might be being favorable saying that Dean Kramer is definitely year 4. Because this is as much a part of the story as all of the good is. Like, the good is a big part of the story. This is a big part of the story, too. Dean Kramer's number 1.
Yeah, I was close with Junior Cano too. He was also awful in that game.
Yeah, I hear
you. Dean ends up number 1 because he blew the game here. It was like you're gonna sweep Toronto, and I mean, who knows? That wasn't gonna change anything.
Correct,
but like that would have been cool.
It would have been cool. You're 100% right.
Would have had would have added to the that one last memory of Cedric Mullins. You remember him robbing the home run and winning the game, and instead, no, that wasn't what happened. So yeah, Kramer.
3 up. Jordan Westberg is number 3 on my list. Had a good week, and I got to get what the updated numbers were because wasn't able to take.
12 hits total. Hold on, I'm pulling it up in a second. Yeah, he was like 12 for 27.
Yeah, it was a very good week.
Pretty good
for Jordan Westberg. So Jordan Westberg's number 3 for me.
He was my number 3 as well.
All right, then is your number 2 Gunnar Henderson?
No, he's my number 1.
Oh, there's no way I could put anybody higher than Trevor Rogers on the list. There's just no way.
Yeah, but Gunnar was really good.
Don't get me. He was.
If
Trevor Rogers
has 2.
I think Gunnar Henderson hit like 310 for the week. Like
he hit like 333, and he had 9 RBI, inclling Saturdays. There's been like 2 or 3 moments this year.
Yes,
that have
I
been
agree.
Good,
the Saturday moment was good. He didn't throw technically a complete game. It's a weird bit because that does count as a complete game, even though he didn't throw 9 innings. Trevor Rogers is number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he might still be pitching now if they don't, they
correct.
don't give up a run in the first or the second inning, whatever.
Trevor Rogers is number 1, and I really do wonder what the odds would have been before the season on him being Orioles MVP. Like, what could you have gotten? They don't list those odds anywhere.
Gunnar, it's a race between him and Gunnar, in my opinion, right?
I don't think it's a race at the moment.
Gunner's having it was incredibly lethargic start, but like now I think someone pulled his stats. He's batting .333. He's OPSing over 1,000 since June 1st.
But the season isn't since June 1st.
I understand. The rest of the team has been really bad too, so it's not all him.
I'm not trying to. This isn't me blaming Gunnar Henderson. This isn't me saying the season is Gunnar Henderson's fault. It's me saying Gunnar Henderson's having a good year on the whole. The whole of what we've seen from Trevor Rogers is otherworldly. Like, Trevor Rogers is the Orioles MVP at the moment. Now, if he were to falter, then Gunnar Henderson would be the default choice to be MVP. But Trevor Rogers is definitively the team's MVP today, which is wild.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's definitive.
Today, it's definitive. Dude, what he's doing is absurd.
Yeah, and their team's still losing.
What Gunnar Henderson's doing, the team is still losing. What are you doing?
Well, he won the game for him on Saturday.
Yes, they won one.
He should have done it.
Did he play on Friday?
Did he play on Friday?
Did he play yesterday?
I think he did. I mean, I assume he did.
Did they win those games?
But they also choose to sit these guys at random times.
Not really. Gunnar doesn't sit much.
He didn't play, or wasn't he like not? Oh, he was.
Yeah, he didn't start.
It was like he wasn't going to start, and then like O'Neill got scratched on.
Yeah.
Was that That was Saturday. Yeah, Gunnar was like, because Gunnar DH Saturday.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So Gunnar was gonna sit. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Moral of the story being
Gunnar's number 1. Yeah. Gunnar hit. I don't know. Did you watch that they were down?
Yes, I was watching.
There were 2 runners on base.
Yes,
which was exactly how many they needed on base.
That was the one game
in the 8th inning.
That was the one game. What did he finish for the week? What did he actually?
His stats for the week.
I thought he was 9 for 29.
He was 9 for 27.
27, really?
Yes.
Are you sure?
That's what I have. I have 2 separate sources that say 9 for 9 for 27. Yeah, ESPN's fan, because I like, at least on Monday when we come in, the ESPN fantasy stats reset. So I can do just last 7 days for all the Orioles players. But yes, 9 for 27. He was batting. So yeah, 333. OPS over 1,000. He had 2 home runs, 9 RBI.
He had a very good week.
Yeah,
very deserving of being number 2.
He only struck out 5 times.
Very deserving of a number 2 spot. Well done. All right, we'll get 3 up and 3 down up at GlennClarkRadio.com a little bit later on. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is still available, but only for a couple more days, and then it's gone in favor of a new print issue that will have a football theme. We'll let Stan tell you about that later on this week. But go get this one in the meantime with Carmelo Anthony on the cover as we celebrate his upcoming induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Cedric Mullins in his brief time, he was 6 for 10 this week with what he had a home run.
There's
and also
a strong
2
argument.
robbed home runs. So I was very close to putting Cedric Mullins on the list for why
I hear
not,
you.
of course.
I hear you.
What are we doing? Tidbit. What do I got for you? So Orioles were victim of this yesterday. Justin Turner, of course, stepping in and pinch hitting a walk-off.
Of all people, Justin Turner.
He became the
third. How dare he ruin Nora Jones' day? How dare he do that?
His first walk-off home run of his career. First time he had a walk-off.
It's kind of
home
crazy.
Run. Yeah. And he's
like 107 years old.
Yeah, this is his 17th season.
God, when he took his helmet off, you were like, "Oh, dude, what happened to Justin Turner?" Like, it's like when you go. I went and saw Collective Soul this weekend, and you just see the guy, and you're like, "Oh, right, you're 60 now." Like, that was the way that I felt.
Yeah, but it's still long down. It's still long all around here. You know?
Yeah, around there, yes. Like, God, not up there. That was a rough.
Well, it's gonna be that much cooler, when he looks back on this in 20 years.
I guess.
Like, look at how old I was.
Yeah, 100%.
Walk off home.
I got to tell you though, the aura of there's nothing in baseball. It sucks, but the aura of the walk-off win for the Cubs with "Go Cubs Go" playing and the entire stadium singing along, like there is nothing.
The aura of any walk-off,
baseball,
especially when the stands are packed.
When the stands are packed, the walk-off is amazing. But then everybody's staying.
Yeah, because
they don't start heading to the exits. They all stay, and they're all belting the song out, man. That is...
Yeah, it's pretty...
It is a top thing in sports, man. I don't know how to define it, but, like, it's one of those things, it's really hard to compare. Really hard.
Third 40-year-old to hit his first career walk-off home run. So, like, at 40 years old or older to hit his first career walk-off home run. He joins these 2 other 40-year-olds. One did it in 1958. I don't know if you'll get him because I don't even know who he is. Murray Dixon.
Oh, Murray Dixon.
Yeah, Murray Dixon's one of them.
Hey, is that Murray Dixon over there?
And then another 40-year-old in 1989 hit his first career walk-off home run.
40-year-old. He was 40 in 1980. It feels like Julio Franco was already 40 in 1989. 1989 was 40 years old. Dale Murphy?
No, not Dale Murphy. Would he have been 40 in 1989?
No, he was probably in the early 90s. He turned 40.
He was not an Oriole at the time, but
became an Oriole.
He was an Oriole
before.
Yes.
A former Oriole who was 40 in 1989.
And once because I feel like it'll give it away once I give you the team that he was with, but.
I feel like it'll give it away when you tell me the team he was with. A former Oriole. Was 40 years old in 1989.
He had actually just turned 40.
Just turned 40 in 1989. I am struggling.
He played for he played for 6 different teams, but the teams that he spent, he was an Oriole for 10 years, one on the 83 team, and then in 89 he spent one of his 3 seasons with the LA Dodgers.
One of his 3 seasons with the Dodgers. And he was on the 83 World Series team. And he was with the Dodgers. Damn. Why am I not?
I don't want to say his position yet. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Well, I mean, like I can go through who it wasn't, right? Like I can walk through. Was it Dempsey?
It was Rick Dempsey. Rick Dempsey joined is the list that Justin
I guess
Turner
that math
joins
all
here.
works out. I guess that's true. Damn.
Dempsey hit his first career walk-off home run
and
at 40 years old.
It's true. He ultimately did come back to the Orioles after that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Well, now that I look at his Wikipedia, no,
it was a very brief stint when he came back to the Orioles.
Was that like just to retire, or was it like?
They had, I believe, a catching injury that year.
And so he was 40 in 89. So that was 92. So he was like, they brought him back to catch at 42,
for
43.
like a week, I want to say.
Good for Rick. Good for Dempsey. And then I guess we can wrap up with this one. Julio Rodriguez hit his 20th home run of the season yesterday. So is now the first player ever to be in the 2020 club. His first 4 seasons.
Okay.
And he also becomes the third player to be in the 100-100 club in his first 4 seasons.
Third player.
2 other players in their first 4 seasons to reach the 100-100 club.
Alex Rodriguez.
Not A-Rod.
Ronald Acuna.
Not Acuna.
I don't think is Tatis there.
No, not Tatis.
How about
the other 2 on this list? He's the first one to do it this millennium, so the other 2 are pre-2000.
Pre-2000. How about God, man, this is. How about
one is a New York one was a New York Met.
Beltran?
Not Carlos Beltran. And one was a San Francisco Giants.
Bonds?
Bobby Bonds.
Yeah. I mean, Barry Bonds with the Pirates at that point in his career. And was not hitting home runs like that. I mean, he was still hitting home runs.
He's not in this club.
But he was more stolen bases early on in his career than home runs. One was you said a New York Met.
Correct.
New York Met, and it wasn't Carlos Beltran. That's because it was David Wright.
Not David Wright. Pre-2000.
Pre-2000.
So I guess Carlos Beltran wouldn't have counted either. When did Beltran start playing?
He was post 2000. Damn. How about who am I not thinking of?
The 1983 NL Rookie of the Year. I don't know if that helps.
1983 Rookie of the Year. Mookie Wilson?
Not Mookie Wilson.
1983 Rookie of the Year. Strawberry?
Yep, Darryl Strawberry.
Wow. I don't think of Darryl Strawberry as a stolen base guy like that. That's crazy.
I guess early in his career he was. But yeah,
you
Julio.
think more of him as a power hitter.
Julio, Bobby Bonds, and Darryl Strawberry.
All right.
100-100.
It's an interesting group of guys. So it's certainly a group of guys. All right, very good. Let's get tubular. Oh, my God, it's 12:40. What are we doing?
What was the main focus today, Coach?
Fundamentals, ball control. It's always huge.
Any early thoughts on the competition this year?
Well, look, this is the best of the best players in the world. It's going to be an amazing tournament.
Tournament?
Yeah, the BMW Championship at Caves Valley. What are you guys talking about? All they ever ask me about is football.
Here's coming up totally tubular-wise, nothing. Orioles, Phillies, Game 1 up in Philadelphia. Cade Povich returns for the Birds. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the Phillies.
Oh, a lefty.
Yeah, right. 6:45 on MASN. It's also the free game of the day on MLB TV because more people should see the Orioles right now.
I agree.
The Padres and Diamondbacks, 9:40 on MLB Network. Tennis Channel for coverage of the National Bank Open up in Canada. That gets back underway at 2 o'clock. And Netflix for WWE Monday Night Raw at 8. That's it.
We got Julia Garner and former U.S. Labor Secretary Robert Reich will be on.
Yes, they're plugging Nobody 2.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
So what are they?
They're excited
I don't
about
think
it.
either of them are in it. But okay.
Well, Robert Reich is. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Good for him. Fallon will have Chris Pratt, Rose Byrne, and
what is Julia
MGK.
Garner is plugging? I guess Fantastic Four still. Or?
That's what I thought. She's in something else that's coming out this week. Oh, Weapons. Which is like this horror thriller movie. Looks solid. Josh Brolin's in it. Looks solid. Comes out Friday. I don't know much. I don't know much about it because I'm kind of interested in it, so I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to.
You want to know too much?
No, I don't want to know too much. But yeah, she was the Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four, so I'm sure she'll be plugging that as well. What's MGK, Chris Pratt, and Rose Byrne doing on Fallon?
Everybody knows they're plugging a Clash in Paris, which is the next WWE pay-per-view.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Already? They're already.
Yeah,
so are they going to be even recapping what happened last
no,
night? Or
no, they're just
looking
looking right ahead. Yep,
nice.
100%.
Good for them. Make sure you don't call him Machine Gun Kelly. It's just MGK now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's just MGK.
He was doing an interview somewhere recently where he said like he was going to get back to making rap, and I was like, why? Why would you? Like, this is like when Justin Timberlake thought he needed to put out a country album. Like, what? People like what you're doing.
So apparently he's got the college football theme song.
Right.
Year.
Oh, that's right. It was on Pat McAfee last week, and somehow I saw a clip came through my Twitter like, where he said like, yeah, I'm gonna get back. Like I think somebody like asked him like, "You ever gonna make another rap album?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get back to making." And like, dude, what are you were the most irrelevant human being on the face of the planet.
Clearly,
and then
he's very relevant.
You stumbled into making this rock album that, like, I will even be honest, was not bad.
Yeah, well,
like, why would you ever do anything else than that?
Well, maybe he'll be in the WWE next. So follow.
I think he's already been in the WWE.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because Jelly Roll, I mean, obviously,
right.
He had the college football theme song last year.
Oh, is that that's the path?
Yeah.
MG.
Jelly Roll looked pretty good Saturday night.
MGK did.
He looked nimble.
Don't do this.
What do you mean? Don't do this. He looked good.
MGK. I don't think he wrestled, but he was involved with.
It's not easy to slam Logan Paul. Yeah.
He was involved with something at SummerSlam the year it was in Cleveland because he's from Cleveland. I don't remember what he was doing, but he did fizz. He also once got slammed by Kevin Owens off the ramp. So he's been involved a couple of times.
All right. King of the Hill season 14.
I am excited, but I really need to go back and watch. Like, Kyle was always obsessed with King of the Hill, and it was never my thing the way that other shows were. So there's a part of me that's like, maybe I need to go back because I know it was a good show. But if I'm gonna watch this, I feel like I need to go back and watch some old King of the Hill first.
All right, well, get after it then.
Yep. I got 14 seasons to watch.
Didn't come out, or it came out last night actually on HBO. But the Yogurt Shop Murders.
Okay.
Which I think would be up your alley. There's a brutal. Well, I mean, when I read that, I say right up your alley. And then I read the log line here. Brutal murder of 4 teenage girls.
Fun.
In Austin, Texas.
Nice cheeky fun.
In 1991.
Sounds great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's on HBO.
Okay. Can't wait. All right, very good. Thanks today to Zach Moore. Thanks to Brian Wacker and to Rob Long. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the
Galveston.
ClarkRadio.com. We can't move forward.
No, this is
we
forward.
Can't do something new.
Sometimes, you know what they say? Sometimes you have to
we've been
go backwards in order
Let's
to
do something new. Come up with anything at all. Tomorrow?
Tuesday.
Oh, God.
Talk about
what are we doing here?
What are we doing? Orioles big win, series opening win in Philly.
We got work to do. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel. Game Day Men's Health, BMW Championship, Maryland 5-Star, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Baltimore's Classic 5 Golf Courses, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costa Sin, Maryland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, @Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Birds, I guess. Duke sucks.